congratulating the best hurts in the NFL since OJ did those rental car commercials. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on a get it on. Okay, so it's a day delayed, but it's our Super Bowl wrap-up show. Mayhem's in studio. He was hanging out at the party I threw here. I'd say this place turned into a pretty decent man cave back there.
It did.
Got some TVs going and some food flowing.
Multiple
TVs going. Yeah, I got a little sports bar vibe going back here. I was happy to see Sonny, and he brought Phil. Oh man, I miss that dog so much because I got divorced and I got thrown out of my condo. So now I don't get to see Phil.
No visitation.
No visitation with Phil. Well, I probably could.
You gotta work it out. Come on, peace treaty.
God, I can't do it. I don't like Phil that much. But Phil, don't you love Phil?
Man, lovable lunk.
Just a
beast, a bear of a dog. Just lovable.
Yeah.
And the minute, like America's Funniest Home Videos, the minute that we turned our face away from a plate that was within his reach,
yeah,
and it was gone.
Yeah.
What was that? I don't know. Nachos? Who knows? It was
Phil's
gone
got
now.
it.
Yeah, Phil's got it.
Also, I thought it was fun that my son's such a big MMA fan, and you were showing him a little grappling techniques, little hand control techniques. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, look, I figured, all right, I got, 18-year-old kid, 20 minutes to hang out. I don't know, 2 hours over the night, 20-minute sessions. He walked away with, if somebody grabs his hand, he knows how to get away now. So
that's good.
The technique is there.
He's a natural grappler, that boy. So lots of Super Bowl stuff to get into. I don't know why I mainly respond to commercials that are the era that we're living in, which is a cowardly era where people announce everyone is a hero and a superstar and a rock star, and I don't get it. Like what we do is COVID comes around, we act like cowards, and then we say, but the nurses are heroes or superstars or whatever it is. So we're doing this weird thing where we're proclaiming people are heroic while we're acting cowardly. Now, when I grew up, we didn't do either one. You just went about your business. No one was labeled a hero.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting phenomenon as we turn more cowardly and more safety oriented. Superhero movies get bigger, and the use of the word hero gets thrown. Yeah, it's diminished because it's thrown around. Like, also, I'll never forget. I was in. I was in Orange County, and my daughter was playing one of her marathon volleyball games about 4 or 5 years ago, and I went out to do the lunch run. Because it's crazy. Because it's like you're there. You got to drive them to Orange County. You got to get them there at like 7:30 in the morning. Then you have to watch volleyball for like 11 hours. And somewhere in between, you're going on a lunch run for them. None of these things existed when I was young. But anyway, I'd been there since about 7:30 in the morning. They were breaking for lunch at noon. I just got my car and went to go to like a Jersey Mike's sandwich shop. I think it was Tommy John's or whatever it is. Jimmy John's sandwich shop. It was before they opened, unfortunately, but there was a sign that said they were hiring. And this is in like a strip mall in Covina. And it said, now hiring rock stars. And I thought, there could be no further lifestyle difference than you working at this Jimmy John's in Covina making sandwiches. That does not resemble the rock star lifestyle whatsoever in terms of compensation, hours, women, whatever it is. There's no rock star that's going to show up there. But they have to say hiring rock stars now because they have to announce that every 17-year-old flunky with a GED is a rock star or a hero or a superstar.
Participation trophy grown up.
Right, which I don't really understand because when I went to apply for my job at Taco Bell and was denied famously, but and go apply for my job at McDonald's that I did get, I did not confuse myself with a rock star or superstar or superhero or anything. I was a loser kid from a loser family. That's why I was applying for a job at McDonald's versus going into my family's lucrative commercial development business.
They got to cook everybody into it. Like, there's so much positivity in each of these things. They're trying to make it positive.
Yeah, I get it, but to me, see, it feels condescending, number one. It feels ineffective. And also, if you call someone a team member versus a coworker versus an employee, it makes no never mind.
When I worked at Subway, you're telling me I wasn't a sandwich artist?
You were not an artist, and you were not on a sandwich team. You were just a flunky who needed a job and got paid minimum wage. And I don't like any of it.
Yeah.
And I don't like it because I think it satiates or takes the place of something. I want it to sting a little. Like, I've told you a million times, I like junior college. I don't like the term community college. It sounds better than it is. I like a little stigma.
I hear you.
And I don't like when they do, let's see, I don't like currently unhoused. I like homeless. I don't like, what will we call you? Justice involved or something? They're people. There are people, convicts, or we call them justice involved citizens or something. Oh, you never heard the convict one?
Hell no.
Oh, you need that one.
I need that one in my life.
Favorite.
I got to soften it up.
Yes.
I was involved in the justice system.
They are called involved, and we do I like illegal alien. I don't like undocumented American or undocumented citizen because that sounds like you.
The undocumented American thing, I heard this. This is a strange take because it's like, is everybody an American that sneaks in once you're here? You're an American.
It's
very
bullshit.
strange.
It's dangerous
That's the strangest
talk.
one.
I agree. All right, so there was commercials. Dude,
the '80s one went hard. Like the 80s, I don't know what it was for. I forgot.
Flag football.
Hey, flag football. It made me want to get girls to play flag football. That was awesome. I love that commercial.
That was Pete Berg's commercial who was on the show last week. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. First, I think we'll do the Nike female commercial because now Nike doesn't give a shit about females. They want to sell stuff.
They spent a lot of sports bras.
But they doing this weird. It's 2025, and we have to keep going back to this. Girls, don't let anyone tell you. I have a son and a daughter. They live the same life. They've always lived the same life. There's been no difference in how they live their life. 100%. Nobody's told my daughter you can't do something. All right, go ahead. Sorry, we'll play the commercial. It's all virtue signaling.
I missed this
bullshit. Oh, it's great. It's great.
You can't be demanding. You can't be relentless.
Hold on a second. I wish someone would inform any woman I've ever been with that she can't be demanding because I don't think she got the message on demanding. But all right, you can't. This thing too, it's like you can't. Just shut the fuck up. It's 2025. We have women in
everywhere.
Well, the mayor of LA is a woman. I mean, there's just women in charge everywhere. It's not 1947, but all right. Here we act like it's 1947 for women and 1961 for blacks. It's not. It's modern times, idiots. Get the fuck over it. Just get over it and do something. Or Nike, pay the women. Sign big contracts. WNBA, start paying them. Start paying them, Nike, if you'd like to make some change. All right, sorry, go ahead. I'm angry.
You can't be demanding. You can't be relentless. You can't put yourself first. So, put yourself first. You can't be confident.
All right, pause. Don't put yourself first. That's not good. It's not good for society. It isn't. It's not good. It makes for a horrible mom. Those of us who had moms who put themselves first, that means you're second, bitch, and you're hungry. So putting yourself first. When Nike does the stuff where they go, it's your world, and we're all shut the fuck up with that stuff. It is not your world.
Song.
Stop putting yourself first. This song, this Led Zeppelin song, shouldn't they have gotten a song
by a woman?
Yeah, like Belly. I don't know, even the Pretenders, but not an all-dude band who just basically traveled the land banging underage chicks.
Yes.
That's all. Led Zeppelin did was show up in town and bang your daughter. They didn't support women's sports. But all right, sorry, go ahead.
Confident. You can't challenge. So challenge. You can't dominate. So dominate. You can't flex. So flex. You can't fill a stadium. So fill that stadium. You can't be emotional. So be emotional. You can't take credit. You can't speak up. You can't be so ambitious. You can't break records. You can't have any fun. You can't make demands. You can't keep score. You can't stand out. Whatever you do, you can't win.
All right, pause it for a second. I don't know. Don't you feel like the Williams sisters were beating everyone at tennis and taking Wimbledon cups home?
Yes.
Well, you can't keep score. You can't win. You can't try. I feel like there's tons of famous women athletes who do all those things and have been doing it for a long time. Billie Jean King was winning tennis tournaments in 1969. Is that we can't, we won't let you? Who's not letting you? I don't know. Yeah. Women's soccer teams done okay for themselves. There's lots of examples, Nike. It's 2025. Stop it. Stop pandering. And also, you don't believe it. That's the part. That's the part I don't like. And again, I don't know. Look it up. I don't know who's in the booth. Byron. What is the highest paid Nike shoe contract for a WNBA player? And then find the highest paid Nike shoe contract. It's probably Jordan. For a male basketball player, past or present or whatever. And then I would offer up to Nike, you could help a lot of these ladies by simply paying the WNBA chick the same shoe contract is what Michael Jordan gets paid.
But they don't get the numbers. It's just the reality of the situation where if, the TV viewership is not as high, there's no way they can justify spending that much money on a damn shoe contract.
So shut up, Nike. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Or you're a multi-billion-dollar company. You could do it if you wanted.
Right.
But you don't.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. We'll keep playing it. A whole lot of love.
So win.
You can't win, so win.
Nike has aired its Super Bowl commercial 2025.
Who told them they can't win?
Yeah, it's a weird thing that they have to do to sell shoes to women. Is like pretend that you guys are totally disadvantaged in this world.
Yeah,
and you have to get awesome by buying Nike.
I know. It's so cloying, and it's again. I'm a broken record. It's 2025. Get the fuck on with it, Nike. Pick another angle.
I know. Yeah.
All right, we'll figure out what is the highest paid female WNBA shoe contract
worth by Nike? Griner, no?
By Nike.
Or Caitlin Clark now.
Caitlin Clark now. And by the way, this is 2 minutes old. Mm-hmm. They've been not paying people for 20 years. $28 million for Caitlin Clark. Yeah, as of 4 months ago, though. Like before that, it was $200,000, but it's still less than what the men are getting paid.
Yeah.
All right. Then the other commercial, which I can't stand, was the climate change commercial. 1.3 billion for Jordan. So come on, step up, Nike, for the ladies, for Christ's sake. The climate change commercial. So there's all these studies that we're having less kids and we're not keeping up with demand in terms of kids and so on and so forth. And a lot of it makes sense if you're into climate change, because the climate change is basically, in this commercial, they're essentially saying you're not going to see your 20th birthday. So why would you have a child if your kid was not going to make it to their junior year in college? So this one was kind of a bummer too. Also, I don't know, talk to India and talk to China about climate change. Stop talking to us. We're driving the electric cars.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. We'll play this one.
As a scientist, I know by the time she takes her first breath, 9 billion more tons of carbon pollution will be in the air. When she takes her first steps, wildfires will have burned millions more acres she could have explored. By the time a child born today goes to college, it may be too late to leave them the world we promised. Our window to act on climate change is like watching them grow up. We blink and we miss it.
Hold on, can I say this? Does climate change affect dudes, or is it just the ladies?
That's her.
Just girls?
Specific. She's burning down rainforests that she can't walk through.
Well, we could help with the wildfires if we manage a fucking forest. I mean, that would be helpful. But anyway, all right, everyone, pull out, because we're not going to be having kids anymore, because your daughter, by the time she takes her first breath, 200 million tons of carbon would have been released into the atmosphere or whatever. I've been hearing this shit my entire life.
Whatever happened to peak oil? I thought we were going to run out of oil. I thought that was going to happen.
We're going to run out of oil. There's going to be an ice age. The polar caps are going to melt. Everything was going to happen over the last... This stuff is not 50 years old. It's 60 years old. And it was all going to happen, and none of it ever happens.
Good old ecology.
So go ahead and shit out a kid, would you? Jesus Christ.
You're on a bummer today,
I don't know why they do this. If you're a woman or you're black or you're under the age of 30, you have to just sit and digest all their doom and gloom bullshit until you get depressed enough that you take your own life. I don't get it. I mean, I get what they're doing. They're trying to make money. What they're doing.
They got a Super Bowl ad out there, so they got deep pockets. I didn't even know who that was for. That's a weird.
Well, okay. Climate, we act like it's, Santa Monica, parts of the West Valley and Malibu who control climate. It's the world.
Yeah.
It's a global thing.
Yeah.
We only control so much of it. And you're going to have to talk to developing nations and get them to cool their jets a little on the coal-fired power plants.
Yeah, they're just dumping carbon up in the air.
They're doing it.
And
yes.
everybody can stop driving gas-powered cars here. It wouldn't make a dent because China and India. Yeah.
Well, also, we drive gas-powered cars and then we burn the place to the ground every 5 years and release millions of tons of carbon up in the skies. All right. Then there's the inexplicable Tom Brady Snoop Dogg one, which is...
They played a couple times.
They played this one like 3 times. I think it's the NFL who decided to turn their attention from ending racism to ending hate. So now we're just supposed to end hate in general, but there's still stuff I hate. I hate passion fruit iced tea. I hate left turn arrows. I hate Kevin Smith. I hate stuff. What do you want me to do about it? I don't like it. Or maybe I hate Al Qaeda or Hamas. Is that okay? Or carbon? Maybe I hate carbon. I don't know. What do you want me to do with it? Now, the reason Nike's a huge company and the NFL's huge, and these are all big companies, and this is all just money, feel good, whatever compensation. There's nothing that can come of it, just like there's nothing that and racism in the end zone could come of, but there's nothing Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady yelling at each other there's nothing to do. Now, what I'm saying is it's the LA freeway signs. The LA freeway signs say click it or ticket. Okay, nobody's clicking their seatbelt. They either put their seatbelt on or they didn't by that time. By the time they get to that sign in the middle of the Ventura Freeway, it's either on or it's off. No one's being reminded. So zero effect. Now, NFL could put in their end zone, change the filter in your air conditioning system. And that would be huge. Because millions of people would be sitting watching the Super Bowl and millions of women would go, when did we change that filter last? And then they would go look at their filter and it would look horrible with cat hair and dander and weird shit in it. And then they would change it. And then that would be a net positive. This is nothing. This is click it or ticket. But
the other end zone, floss daily.
Floss, change your filter. So inflate your car tires. All right, it kind of saddens me. Okay, I like Snoop Dogg, but who decided we needed to hear from him 24/7? He's like the Black Gronk. It's like he's yes. Snoop Dogg's fine. Gronk is fine. I don't need to see them every time I turn around. One of them is yelling for me to do something.
Likeable guy, no major scandals recently. There you go. He's on TV constantly.
Yes. All right. So this is them talking about hate.
I hate you because we're from different neighborhoods.
I hate you because you look different.
I hate you because I don't understand you.
All right, pause.
I hate you because people I know.
Just hate because you look different. Snoop. Was Snoop a Crip or a Blood? Because I can't tell them apart. Because they kind of look the same.
I believe he had a blue flag hanging on his backside, only on the left side, because that's the Crip side.
All right. So then he was a Crip and not a Blood.
Yeah.
But white America could not tell the difference between a Crip and a Blood, meaning they look the same to us. Now, they shoot each other and they kill each other, but they look the same. So this notion, but the Hatfields and the McCoys look the same, and they kill each other. And I would argue right now, Russians and Ukrainians look the same.
Can't tell them apart.
But they are killing each other. So this thing where I hate you because you look different than me, I think we have a rich history. During World War II, I couldn't tell the difference between someone who was from Germany and someone who's from Poland in terms of just looking at them. But the Germans knew the difference, and they killed the ones from Poland. So I don't think it's really how you look is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg was a member of the Rollin' 20s Crips gang in Long Beach, California during his teenage years. However, in 1993, he denied being a gang member of a gang. All right. Sorry. Well, we shall continue with these two because we hate people because they look different than us.
I hate you because we're from different neighborhoods.
I hate you because you look different.
I hate you because I don't understand you.
I hate you because people I know hate you.
I hate you because I think you hate me.
Because I need someone to blame.
Because you talk different.
Because you act different.
Because you're just different.
The reason for hate, or stupid as they say.
Man, I hate that things are so bad that we have to do a commercial about it.
Me too.
Right. They could have hugged.
Tom, shut the fuck up.
They could have hugged.
Things are so bad. What? I know you keep saying how bad. I know Nike tells us how bad things are, and Snoop does, and the NFL does. Are things so bad, or are you guys just fucking saying everything is bad all the time?
Gassing us up, yeah. There was a strange tone of the culture on Super Bowl. It was the commercials were strange. The halftime was strange. We'll get to that on the news. But yeah, everything was a weird, dark shell of itself. America.
I was around in the 90s. People just fucking had a good time.
Yeah,
it was fine. Black, white, women, whatever. Nobody sat around and talked about hatred and women and sports, and it's just. It's a fucking group of aggrieved belly achers they need a victim class in order to rationalize their existence. And it's not their fault. It's corporate America who goes along with all of their shit all the time. It's Nike and NFL and everybody.
I think part of it is economic. Like, a lot of people are economically depressed. And if that gets better, I think the culture will shift again. It would be a little happier.
You can be as happy as you want to be, or you can watch TV commercials and be convinced that everyone hates you and that there's carbon everywhere. I mean, they want to talk about climate change, and it's all they ever talk about. But I've lived here my entire life. Everything's the same. So I don't know what I want to tell. Now, I'll tell you what climate change is. I grew up in a house without air conditioning, and that was in the 70s, and it fucking sucked. And then I made money, and I got air conditioning, so my climate changed. And I used to drive a pickup truck with no air conditioning, and that sucked. And now I have a car with air conditioning. So once again, I changed my climate for the better. And I used to work on job sites that had no air conditioning, and now I work indoors with air conditioning. So I personally changed my climate, and it made me much happier.
Hell yeah.
All right. The LA Strong commercial we can't find, which is weird because they aired it. So it's got to be on some website at least. Maybe it was like a local thing. It's this other thing, too, where we have these pictures of firefighters and cops and stuff, and we go, we're LA Strong. We're not anything LA. LA is fractured mess, and nobody does anything. There's no LA Strong. You can't just put strong behind every city name that God shits on and then decide that that's who we are. We didn't really do anything. We had a wildfire. Everyone in LA sat back and watched the place burn to the ground. We can call it LA Strong. Now it's been over a month, and I can't go back to my home. So you call it whatever the fuck you want, but I'm not calling that LA Strong. Us hanging around and blaming each other while everything burned to the ground. It's not LA Strong, and now we've designated everything a hazardous waste dump, and I can't go back to my place. So I don't know what part of Strong that is. I know you do commercials in black and white where people have schmutz on their face and they look very earnest, and they do a slow motion shot, and you get a black chick and you get a white dude and you get a Hispanic chick, and then you go LA Strong, and then we go, oh yeah, except for none of those people put out anything, and nobody's helping me get back to my home, and I have no goddamn idea what's going on. I don't know if the power's on. I don't know if the water's on. I don't know if the gas is on. I don't know anything. So you can say LA Strong, but I don't know if anything's coming out the other end. To you? Again, it's more fucking bullshit hero talk. Nothing's coming out the other end.
Grapes of Wrath commercial, and then, black and white, there's nothing else to do. You already did your job.
So you go to lastrong.com, like a commercial doesn't come up on the internet or anything, huh? It's a weird world. I'm sitting there watching it on my 100-inch TV set, and now you look for it.
Is LA Strong a charity of some sort, or what are they trying to do? Like collect donations for who did burn down?
The part that's always weird to me is the no call to action part, like Nike.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Like, what do you want me to do? Like, just get up, Nike, and smack my son across the face and yell at him to sit down? Exactly. Like, what do you want me to do?
I know, yeah.
Shit out another girl and then get her into soccer or something? Like, what is the plan, Nike, other than...
Nothing. That's just a general feeling of malaise.
Yes. All right. So, LA Strong doesn't exist.
Damn. After all that money they spent on the ad.
I know. You'd
think they'd have something up there.
Yeah. And there is no... People say to me every other day, when are you going back? I go, I don't know. I go, what's the news? There is no news. I don't know what the news is. It's a year to clean it up. It's we should be back next week. You can go back with an escort. When are they going to turn the power on? I don't know. I don't know. This is L.A. We're L.A. Strong. It's modern times. Shouldn't I be able to go to a website and find out when the power's going to be back on?
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
A morsel of information. You're just like out in the Clear blue yonder.
Then it turns out the Pete Berg commercial was a NFL commercial for flag football. So evidently, women are better at football than men, except for we're watching the Super Bowl.
Not a woman.
How many ladies were on? Well, certainly one or two on special teams, right?
Yeah.
No? Nobody? Well, why are we... Also, listen, everybody, as much as you like to feed us this shit all the time, when it doesn't ring true, then it just feels sad, you know, and it feels like you're doing what you're doing. But it's an NFL commercial for flag football.
Dude, it's just good filmmaking would make you like anything. So they just said, oh, we get a good filmmaker to make an awesome commercial. And I forgot what it was for. And then you tell me. Flag football. Oops.
You know how...
Oh, really?
The proper pronunciation of flag football, you have to hold your tongue. You have to pinch your tongue.
Flag football.
Yeah, that's how it is. Right. Just you pinch your tongue again to pronounce sheet cake properly.
Sheet cake.
Sheet cake. Okay. So flag football and sheet cake.
Flag football. A pilot
could be more accurately described. Huh. All right. The Pete Berg commercial. I like Pete. He's very skillful. But what's the NFL saying? They want us to go petition our high schools to get flag football. They had flag football for girls when I was in high school.
Oh, they did. Yeah.
Did it every year. They had a game called the Powder
Puff. I know that one.
I was a cheerleader.
Yep, me too.
You were a cheerleader?
Yeah, I was a cheerleader for the flag football.
For the flag football?
Yep. So was
Byron was too?
Actually, there was a ton of guys who signed up to be cheerleaders, but by the end of it, no one showed up, so they just made me the mascot.
That's great.
We had Powder Puff once a year. The girls would play. The boys would cheer. We're talking 1981, man. And the girls played flag football and the boys cheered. So I don't know why 45 years later this is so important. But anyway, it turns out there's a woman, and she's a woman of color, who turns out to be the best. And then it turns out the doofus dude's a white dude named Brad. It's all...
Nah, but it was a throwback to those old movies, you know, where you had the... I don't know, you were already living the man's life of a carpenter.
I was living the man's life of a carpenter with no air conditioning.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. It's just women are better at flag football than guys or something, except for they're not. But it's all part of the dream, right? But I also, like, there's women's stuff and there's men's stuff. And women, you could go, I don't know, cooking, but it turns out there's male chefs and they're actually better than a lot of the women. But there's no such thing as women football players that are actually better than Tyreek.
They say the women are better at being like fighter pilots because it's a lot of multitasking. It's a lot of compartmentalized. You got to do this. You got to do this. Got to do this. Attack helicopters.
I will buy all of that. Yeah, just not football.
No.
But so what I'm saying is it's just limited to the sports and the
But how are you going to sell all those overpriced flags, shoes, cleats, you know what I mean? All that equipment. How are you going to sell all that if you don't have a sweet-ass commercial and girls beating boys?
I'm just saying it's all so old now. Okay. It's all old.
War of the Sexes raged on for millennia.
Well, they do it. Listen, back when I was talking about Billie Jean King winning her championships in the 60s.
Yeah.
In 74, probably 74, could have been 72, early 70s, she played Bobby Riggs in tennis, and it was the biggest event ever. It was male versus female, battle of the sexes, and Billie Jean was sort of in her prime, and Bobby Riggs was out of his prime, older guy. I don't know if he was ever a great tennis player, but I think he was a professional tennis player, but by this time he was old, and she beat him, and that was 50 years ago. We got the message. Although I don't know, and you guys can look it up, when Bobby Riggs played Billie Jean King, I think she may have had the doubles line open on his side of the court and the singles line open on her side of the court, if you know what that is.
Yeah. So it's a wider court.
Yeah.
For him,
like
but not for her.
Maybe. I have a vague memory of that. If that's true, then they shouldn't have done it that way. But she was a professional in her prime, and she beat a guy who was in his late 40s maybe at the time. But we did the experiment. It was 50 years ago. We got it. We're
Strange
good.
exhibition match, yeah.
We got a song. They had Helen Reddy, I Am Woman. It was all laid out. We did it all. I Am Woman, Billie Jean King, Bobby Riggs. This is all 50 years plus ago. We're good. Turn the fucking page. Just turn the page. Get on to problems.
There's money in it, though. Come on.
I know. All right. Shall we do some news, I guess, is the question.
All right.
So was the rule the same with Bobby Riggs and Billie Jean King? Did they play singles, or was there? Am I making this up, or am I right? Was there doubles and a singles thing on either side of the court?
You're really pushing the abilities of the Google foo back there.
I know.
It's like, you got to find, not only do you got to dig into something that we never even thought about until this moment, then dig deeper into it to see the exact rules of that's a lot of Wikipedia-ing.
Yeah. All right. We'll take a break. We'll see if we can find that one. It's got to be there. If you can't find it, then it means I'm making it up. But I think there's something to it. I have a vague memory of it. Take a quick break. Be back with news right after this. Simply Safe. Well, everyone's trying to stay safe now, especially out here. I've been allowed back in my home for 3 weeks, but I'm safe, and we want you to be safe too. Traditional security systems only take action after someone has already broken in, and by then it's too late. Simply Safe's Active Guard outdoor protection can help prevent break-ins before they happen. That's what you want. You want to prevent a break-in before something gets broken. If someone's lurking around or acting suspiciously, the agents will see him, and they'll talk to them in real time, activate spotlights, even contact the police. No long-term lock-in contracts or cancellation fees. Monitoring plans start at a very low price, about $1 a day. Very affordable. These guys are great sponsors, been around for a long time. It's Simply Safe, right, Dawson?
You can get 50% off your new Simply Safe system with professional monitoring and your first month free at simplysafe.com/Adam. Just head to simplysafe.com/Adam to claim your discount and make sure your home is safe this year. Keep your home, your family, and your peace of mind protected with Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Hey, it's almost Valentine's Day, people. Let's give her one she's not going to forget. That's right. Take advantage of this brand new deal from Adam and Eve. AdamandEve.com/ace is where you go. That's AdamandEve.com/ace. This is absolutely the best deal we have ever offered, and you deserve the best Valentine's Day ever. This is a limited time offer, so get your 4 sex toys while supplies last. 4 toys for $20, literally saving up to $175 with this exclusive offer. Have a fun and rowdy Valentine's Day this year with our good friends at Adam and Eve. Right, Dawson?
Take a look at AdamandEve.com/ace to see what 4 sex toys will be yours for just $20. Go to AdamandEve.com/ace. It's the only way to get this offer.
Hydro. I love my Hydro. It's good because you can get that full body workout in about 20 minutes. You want to hit the gym. There's always the plan to hit the gym, but something gets in the way, some timing thing. Plus, it's a pretty big commitment. My Hydro is just in my living room. If they'd let me back in my condo, I would jump on it because I miss it right now. It's easy and it's fast. And like I said, 20 minutes. I mean, you got a half-hour show you like to watch, record it, fast forward through the commercials. That's as much as you need to work out with your Hydro. It's a rower. There's nothing more to debate. You just hop on and you row, and it's over, and you get a full body workout, a killer full body workout. It hits 86% of your muscles, and like I said, only 20 minutes a day to better health. Whether you're training for a marathon or just trying to stay in shape, Hydro meets you where you're at. It also looks good, too. Am I right, Dawson?
Kick off the new year with a full body workout, all from the comfort of home with Hydro. Head over to hydro.com and use code Adam to save up to $475 off your Hydro Pro rower. That's HYDROW.com, code Adam to save up to $475. Hydro.com, code Adam.
Here's a beat from Beat It Out with Adam Carolla and Jay Moore.
You ever watch gangbang porn?
Yeah, love it.
The guy who's 6 deep, he's in the 6 slot before he gets to the chick. He's doing that thing where it's like, I'm not jacking off.
Pinching the helmet.
I'm just kind of keep a little blood moving down.
Pinching the helmet.
That is the exact same thing as jogging in place. That's the equivalent. That's the gangbang porn equivalent.
Yeah, I know what it is.
To that, right?
You're not jerking off, but you're keeping your fighter loose.
Right, and you're not running, but your feet are moving.
Am I right? The gangbang porn, they're all wearing socks. Butt naked with boners standing next to other dudes, but I got my black socks on so I don't slip on your map of Hawaii.
Subscribe to Beat It Out on Substack at adamcarolla.com/Substack. Now back to the Adam Carolla Show.
By the way, I should mention my poor old pops who passed away a couple months ago was from South Philly. And while he never expressed any interest in almost anything, he did sort of root for Philly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he did. He was kind of an Eagles guy.
He was smiling on as they trounced the Chiefs.
I do recall seeing Philly. I think Dallas spanked them in like Super Bowl 15 or something like that. Yeah, and I remember going to my uncle Vince's cousin Vince's Bruno's. I was going to say house, but apartment, My dad didn't know a lot of homeowners, His 1 or 2 bedroom in Santa Monica. And it was a weird thing. Like, we're going to watch the Super Bowl with Vince Bruno because Vince had like a 19-inch color TV, which would have been a big ticket item for my dad, and probably offered up a bowl of chips or something. And he just sat there. It's not like the beer was flowing or cocktails or there wasn't a fruit platter or anything. We just sat there and drank tap water and ate chips. But it was still it was like my dad's version of a Super Bowl party, but no one was invited and there wasn't anything to eat or anything. While the Battle of the Sexes was highly publicized, a significant event, there were no differences in the court lines for the match between Billie Jean and Bobby Riggs. The match was played under standard rules. Okay. It was the Raiders that beat the Eagles in Super Bowl 15. Yeah, thanks. I just remember it was a big deal that the Eagles got to the Super Bowl and they just kind of got spanked. And, we just sat there with a bowl of chips and tap water.
Oh, man.
Jesus Christ.
I can just see one light bulb hanging above you guys. Just a sad
My dad has never been to a Super Bowl party. It's crazy. It's all crazy. All right. Anyway, he'd be happy that his Eagles won. That's all I'm saying. What do you got with the news?
Well, speaking of the Super Bowl, Taylor Swift booed at the Super Bowl as Donald Trump receives thunderous cheers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in a moment that perfectly captured the cultural divide in America, pop icon Taylor Swift faced boos from a portion of the Super Bowl crowd, while former President Donald Trump received overwhelming cheers. The stark contrast played out in one of the nation's biggest stages, further highlighting the deep polarization between entertainment elites and everyday Americans.
Yeah, I watched her biopic. I shouldn't say her documentary, and she's kind of a dope. Politically, she's a dope. She's one of these people that buys into everything. But also, it's hard to tell what she really thinks because everything is sort of a popularity contest. Like if Taylor Swift was like, listen, I don't like homos and I don't think 2 dudes should get married, she would lose 3/4 of her fans immediately. So she's got to be careful about what she says. All right, we got Trump. We got a clip. I think we got a clip. That's Trump. They're cheering for Trump. And then we got Taylor Swift. They're booing for Taylor Swift.
The side eye.
That was a bad outing.
Yeah.
And then I was saying to everyone at the party, what's Kelsey leaving in? Because he showed up like the Bishop Don Magic Wand in full pimp regalia. But don't you have to have a loser outfit
black
for the
suit, understated? You know what I mean? Maybe a hoodie.
Yeah, something to escape in.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got a gold brooch.
Yeah.
He's got LeMay. He's full.
Why?
He's going full pimp.
He's old Travolta and
right. Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah.
Right. Did he leave in that outfit? Because I just believe if I'm him after that drubbing, and he didn't have a great day, and Mahomes, no one had a good day. I would just send some PA up to the stadium loge and buy me some Eagles swag.
Sweatpants.
Just give me some green sweatpants and an Eagles T-shirt, and I'll just wear that shit out.
Yeah, I got to
slink out of there. You can't swag your way back out, can you?
Definitely not. The after party's pretty bummed out. Oh, this is after you left. Oh, he did rock it.
All right. First off, Tom Brady is over the goddamn moon. Tom Brady's over the moon because Tom Brady had two things to deal with. One, they were doing the Mahomes is better than Brady thing, and if he had won 3 Super Bowls in a row, then maybe he could have made some claim to it.
Right.
And this would have been his third, and Brady's never won 3 in a row. So there would be some argument for Mahomes. But this put an end to that. And Brady's other legacy was always him and Bill Belichick. Is it him? Is it Bill Belichick? It's got to be Bill Belichick. He's the guy. He just plugs new players in every position and keeps on winning. So Brady's just another cog in the Belichick machine. And then Brady left, goes to Tampa, wins a Super Bowl, and Belichick starts losing almost immediately and is now out was out as the head coach of the Patriots. So Brady had 2 possible threats to his GOAT legacy. One is Belichick, boom, nipped in the bud. Next was Mahomes, 3 in a row, boom, gone. So he's safe. And there's no way Mahomes is going to ever get 3 in a row. He could win next year, but it's going to be real slim that he goes another 3 in a row.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So that's that. So good
Brady's
for
calmed down.
Good for Brady.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
that's why he was yelling at Snoop Dogg about hate. He was hating on Mahomes. He was hating on Belichick.
The way you look.
Yeah, because you look different than me, man.
Yeah, it should say that Swift's representatives not commented on the incident. It's funny. I saw this story the other direction. I saw people saying that Trump got booed at the Super Bowl, but I didn't see that. I didn't.
No, she got booed. He didn't. But that's his crew.
Kendrick Lamar performed a Drake diss track, Not Like Us, at Super Bowl 2025 halftime show with one big change. He didn't call the big word pedophile. He didn't say that. He must have. I'm
too old for rap. I don't appreciate it. I don't get it. I don't see the artistry in it. But also, when guys do parody songs, they rap. Like when Saturday Night Live does something about rap, the guy raps and he sounds as good as whoever he's parodying, and that's why I don't get it.
But when you get deep into it, this guy's lyrics are very off kilter compared to normal. Andy Samberg is excellent at making a little jaunty rap, but this guy's twisting syllables in weird, strange directions. If you look at the poetry on the line, I have an appreciation for it because I kind of grew up with rap, and it was one of those things where that was part of my childhood, and I got into it. And now, well, you can see rap and then Kendrick Lamar above that, where he's winning Pulitzer Prize for his poetry. Yeah. So,
but Ben Shapiro had a #1 rap song out for a while too. So how important is it? But okay, but also, I do want to see people playing instruments, like at some point,
I agree
like
with
at the
that,
concert part. Just the backtrack to me doesn't. I just don't want to. I want to see. Well, switch it back and forth every once in a while. Let's get a rock band in there, and then go back and forth.
Well, one of the only rap groups that did that was very popular. The Roots ended up getting a Jimmy Fallon job. Like they're just the house band. You know, kind of did. But Kendrick Lamar, the whole thing was. He did this track that just took over the radio, took over the whole.
But what is with the Drake pedophile thing?
Well, Drake is kind of like infamous for having young girls around the show all the time, and Kendrick kind of exploited that fact. And basically, that song that you heard, "Not Like Us," "They Not Like Us," that song took over this past year, was just all over the radio. Everyone sang it. In fact, Drake is suing his own label which is also Kendrick Lamar's label. He's suing because they did all the tricks they used to do for Drake, which is buy radio play, buy Spotify suggestions. They did all of that for this song, "They Not Like Us," which accuses Drake of being a pedophile.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm reading here that he was texting Millie Bobby Brown.
Yes. Kind of creepy text. Like anybody, and he would always have like young girls up on stage and sing to them and grind on them. Like Kendrick Lamar called him out for what's pretty obvious that he's, dancing that weird line of that performers get caught in. It's like really crazy. And the fact that the entire nation, it just took over and everybody was singing it all year has got to sting for Drake.
What did they do with the Super Bowl? I think I was taking a piss or something when that line, because everyone's like, is he going to say it or is he going to do it? But then the crowd said it.
Well, he just omitted, like a lot of the lyrics, he drops a lot of N-bombs in there and he drops a lot of, and he says the word pedophile. Like that's the punchline of this song. The punchline of the song, was just taken out. He just let the crowd say it. And then the real punchline is you're trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor. And everybody sings A minor. And he sang that. So everybody got the payoff that they wanted. And yeah, he really smashed Drake into smithereens.
All right. Well, I think we have a clip of that. Let's see.
Bully the fro, say Drake. I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. To any that talk to me they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from them. They tell me Chubb's the only one to get your hand-me-downs. Party at the party playing with his nose now. Baka got a weird case, why is he around? Certified lover boy, certified
pedophile.
I'm on the I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor. They not like us.
Yeah. So yeah, and then right there, that's Serena Williams, who is crip walking on the Super Bowl. Drake's ex-girlfriend, also Drake's ex-girlfriend, SZA. So they were really just spanked them there, just finished them.
Yeah,
and because Drake had taken over the radio for 10 years plus, like he was just this guy, and then kind of tried to get gangster for a while, and everybody backlashed on him, and this is the result. Kendrick Lamar came and put him in the grave.
Is Drake good?
Drake is this guy who's like a rapper, but like a pop culture. You know what I mean? He's like this pop star. He's been this guy that's taken over the radio for a good long time, where he's ubiquitous. Like a Drake song always comes on. It's like just I don't know. They took over the space like Debbie Gibson would have inhabited in the 80s.
Oh, so he's good, like Debbie Gibson. Yeah. I think we're alone now. Is that Debbie Gibson?
Yes.
Does Drake do the sing through the Roomba robot thing?
Sometimes, yeah, but not
I
as
never
much.
liked that.
I know. I know I'm speaking a foreign language to you. Anytime I talk about this kind of thing,
listen. Here's what I don't. Here's my thing. I don't like any sampling of any
Really?
form. You may create all the music you want, but there is no sampling in art. But I would not like comedians who sample other comedians' jokes get thrown out of the business.
I see. Yeah.
So artists who sample other people's art, it's art. I don't like when people rip off other people's stuff. And so you playing Kashmir in the middle of your song is just you playing Led Zeppelin in the middle of your song or whatever it is that we like. It's a riff from the 70s. Like when I think P. Diddy should be incarcerated for that Puff Daddy every step you take, bullshit rip off police song. Hey, we miss you, brother. That's retarded. That's somebody else's song. That's not your song.
I know. But there's an art they have like signed off on that.
Oh, I think we're low announced by Tiffany.
Oh, whoops. I know Debbie Gibson too.
Yeah, I don't know. Debbie Gibson. Debbie Gibson had her own hit. I'll think of it. All right. Anyway, I don't appreciate it, but if you create it from whole cloth, I'm with you. But if you're taking other riffs, I'm not with you because that's music that already got created.
And it's strange that you say that because I listen to the Kendrick Lamar's last album. There's no overt samples, but
Good.
you can tell that he is throwing back to kind of Snoop Dogg's old stuff. He's throwing back to old West Coast kind of rhythms.
Mm-hmm.
So you hear that influence inside the music. It's not overtly sampling.
Yeah, but influence is fine. If Nate Bargatze says I was influenced by Jerry Seinfeld and that's why I do the clean stuff or what have you, I go fine, good. Running backs are influenced, by other running backs who came before them and MMA fighters and every comedians and everything. So that's all artists. That's fine. It's just when you rip off the riff.
See, but
I don't like that.
But now there's the music industry is like, ripping off the riff, you pay the guy to rip it off. You go, hey, Carolla, I want to lease some of these jokes. Can I?
Yeah, it's also the audience for comedy would be like, we already heard that joke.
I know. They'll
that
be mad.
joke from George Carlin did that joke in 74. Like, we don't want to hear that joke. Come up with your own joke.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. What else?
No stress. Moving on to some politics. John Fetterman calls out toxic Democratic Party for shaming and scolding. Yeah. In a surprising admission, Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman openly criticized his own party, describing Democratic brand as toxic due to his habit of shaming and scolding voters. I think we have some video here.
It's weird that he got so sane after a stroke.
And after you survived an assassination, you literally were shot in your head and had the presence of mind to respond, fight, fight, fight. I mean, that's a political talent. It's undeniable. And also, I never believed that it was about fascism. And for me, that made it difficult for
Kamala Harris said that he was a fascist.
Yeah, well, it's like that's her prerogative. I mean, but it's not a word that I would use because you put a lot of Democrats, especially in my state, that I know and I happen to love people that are going to vote for Trump, and they are not fascist. And also fascism, that's not a word that regular people, use. That, I think people are going to decide who is the candidate that's going to protect and project, my version of the American way of life. And that's what happened.
Was that the clip? I guess so. Or maybe there's another clip.
Yeah, it's a different clip. But
that was a different clip, but that was still a decent clip.
Yeah, it sounds pretty reasonable, even though he's dressed in some Carhartt.
He's going to get fatter because when they put the sweat jacket on, you get fatter. You got to put on, you have to put slacks on. I'll tell you what keeps you from being fat. You put slacks on that have the inner button, the outer button, and the hook. The three.
Yeah, I know that one.
And that's when you try to get the inner one. That's when you're sucking it in and pinching and exhaling, and that moment when you're trying to get that inner button done, you think, oh, I'm not fucking eating a donut ever. God damn it, no more donut. Put the fork down. Put the donut down. Not gonna do it. When you're pinching. We put the sweatpants on. You never think that way. Nope.
He always relaxed.
He's wearing basketball trunks and a hoodie. So he's never going to stop being fat.
Skateboard shoes.
Got to wear
not
tight
even performance athletic shoes. He's like ready to kind of go hang out somewhere.
Yeah.
This is my video game outfit.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see if we have that clip somewhere at some point.
Yeah.
No, we got the right clip of Fetterman.
Oh, great.
Yeah, Fetterman's playing it smart. Oh, this is the clip.
Why is the Democratic Party viewed as toxic by so many? Like, even people inside the party acknowledge that.
I think their primary currency was shaming and scolding and talking down to people and telling them, hey, I know better than you, or you're dopes, or you're a bro, or you're ignorant, or, don't you, how can you be this dumb? I can't imagine it. Like, and then, by the way, they're fascists. How can you vote for that? And, when you're in a state like Pennsylvania, like, I know and I love people that voted for Trump, and they're not fascist.
Yeah. Well, you are. Listen, when you use hyperbole all the time, you run a risk of not being listened to. And you can't just keep saying, well, first off, no one believes you believe what you're saying. So, as I've said, if you have Biden, and Biden is saying that Trump's a fascist and we're going to lose our democracy, you don't leave him a love letter in the desk at the Oval Office. You leave a bomb in the Oval Office, because that's what you did with Hitler.
Yeah.
That's what you would do. If you actually believed who this guy was and who he was, who you said he was, then you wouldn't sit next to him at Jimmy Carter's funeral or laugh it up with him and Barack Obama or whatever. So you guys obviously don't believe this stuff. I mean, Barack Obama, instead of kibitzing with him at Jimmy Carter's funeral, should have brought a steak knife and tried to stab him in the heart. If you are dealing with a fascist who's going to end our democracy, then you try to assassinate him. You don't hang around and laugh it up with him. So obviously you people don't believe it. But Trump believed what he was saying about the border or about wars, in foreign soils and things like that. And you can agree with him or disagree with him, but that's what he believes, and that's what he does.
So what do you think Democrats do now? Like, what do they, like, how do they reform? Who comes out of this? Gavin Newsom bring the thunder and try to run for president? I don't understand how they're going to recover.
So I think the Democrats have a fundamental problem, which is their attempt at salvaging what their thing is to be more sort of like a Republican, so their thing when they run, Kamala Harris talked about everything all the time, but then soon as she's running for president, she's like, oh man, I'm going to stiffen up that border, and I'm not for transgender sex changes, and I want to pay for it all. She was going to put an end to fracking. She was going to put an end to drilling. Then as soon as she runs for president, she's all for fracking. She's all for drilling. She's all for a tough border. She doesn't want prisoners being transgenderized on the company dime inside the penitentiary. All the things she said she was for or against, she completely abandoned. So what is it? Okay, so Democrats run on sort of pie in the sky, Nike commercial, NFL commercial. Yeah, okay, women are better, and women are better at football than guys. Yeah, we get it. Yeah, we get it, Nike. You're better. NFL, they're better. Or Nike, women can't compete or keep score, express themselves. Like, all right, liars. Okay, no one believes you. Okay. Nobody. And you don't believe you. Yeah. And we know you don't believe you. So what do you do? Well, now it's important. So now we have to put people on the field because we're playing in the Super Bowl and we want to win. So ladies off the field, dudes come on in. Yeah. What about one lady no ladies on the field. We're trying to win. Oh, okay. So no ladies on the field. All right. Well, maybe they're not better at football. I don't know. Just call me crazy. Okay. So what they do when they want to win an election is they have to, now all the pie in the sky trans shit is out the window. We have to, what do people want? They want cheaper groceries. They want cheaper gas. They want a border that's not porous. Okay, they don't want illegal. Okay, they don't want homeless. Okay, they don't want guys that have been arrested 28 times roaming the subway and pushing grandma onto the tracks. They don't want any of that. All right, Democrats, so act sane for 10 minutes. But your version of sanity is just a sort of version of Republican policy. So now all you're doing is sounding like Republican light. So Kamala Harris went from crazy California Democrat with all the sound bites to basically Sunny D. So Trump was fresh squeezed OJ. Yeah. Fresh OJ. And then she went from grape soda to like Sunny D, right? Like, no, look at me. I'm orange. No, I got citrus base. No, look at me. Yeah, I'm not fresh orange juice, but look at me. I could be if you squint, you might think I was orange juice because somebody told her orange juice is popular and your fucking grape soda shit's not going to fly. Oh, yeah. Now, maybe in crazy People's Republic of California and all your fucking nut job constituency, maybe those idiots will do it. Not after the fire. Yeah. Pre-fire, you can get those idiots to vote with you on any of your fakakta plans, but now after the fire, not so much. But you want to sell this shit in Pennsylvania, you want to sell this shit in oil country, you're going to tell people from Pennsylvania that can't frack, go Sunny D. So that's where she becomes Sunny D, is she's like, I haven't abandoned any of my core values, but I'm going against everything I said 10 minutes ago. But keep in mind, I was in my mid-50s, so I was just a kid, fresh out of high school, with thoughts and dreams, So they're going to have to go his route, which is kind of Sunny D, but how are you going to out OJ orange juice by doing Sunny D? So what they'll do is they'll kind of go, it's true, he's not orange juice. He is Sunny D, but with a heart. He cares a little bit more about the people. And so maybe they'll sell some version, but they're going to have to move up. Because when these policies start working, especially people like a border that's closed and they like cheap gas and less skirmishes around the world and stuff, they're not going to be able to run on trans rights and all the sort of climate hoax change bullshit. They're not going to be able to run on any of that anymore. So they're going to have to come up. They're going to have to be Sunny D.
Yeah, well-stated analogy. I like that, Sunny D. All right, next up, supporters raised nearly $300,000 for Luigi Mangione's legal defense. In a remarkable show of support backers to Luigi Mangione, the man accused fatally shooting United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson nearly $300,000 for his legal defense.
Let me tell you how my addled brain works. I'm like, I heard you say this in the next room, and I was like, good, fuck Blake Lively. Take that bitch down, man. And I was like, good for him. Because I thought it was the other Italian, the other Paisan.
Baldoni. Yeah.
Because I'm old and there's too many names flying around too fast, No, now fuck this guy. Jesus Christ.
Oh, not a big fan of Luigi, huh?
No, I'm not. I'm not a fan of people that execute people.
I know, but
street.
You get why he's this hero? You don't get it, huh?
I get it. Listen, these are dumb and partly scary people because these guys will worship at the altar of anyone almost immediately, and I'll think of the guy's name I'm trying to think of. But yeah, I get what they're saying. I get what they're about. I get what they're doing. But a guy was gunned down in cold blood. You can't support
it's
that.
It's a little bit the American way. We have guns here, and then so when things don't work out, it's kind of American to, like, you know what I mean, rebel and like leave. I'm seeing what's happening with this guy is that everyone, you know, if you don't have a lot of money, you're like, you know, chained to this insurance company, and they have everything over your entire life and can ruin your life at the stroke of a pen. This United Healthcare CEO was overseeing an AI the company using AI to deny people claim all the time. And this, I don't know how this guy decided to be some weird hero for this, martyr for this revolution, but he definitely has been getting a lot of heat on social media in a positive way. And this $300,000, people are voting with their checkbook to this GoFundMe.
I bet you these same assholes loved Michael Avenatti 10 minutes ago.
Who's that? Oh, the lawyer?
They
Stormy Daniels lawyer?
Oh, they love this guy.
No, what I'm saying is it's transcending like party.
Yeah, listen. Whoever runs like whatever companies, they're going to make total maximum profit all the time without thinking about the human cost of it always.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. So we're going to have to restructure the system. Otherwise, this is just going to happen.
Well, but, you know, that's fine.
It's like we're
if it's
mad.
Disney.
We're mad at insurance companies for not insuring in California. But are they? What are they doing? Well, they've decided the risk outweighs the reward, so they packed up and they left. So now you can be angry at Allstate, or you can try to shape the system to get Allstate to do the right thing and incentivize them, is what I'm saying.
What it kind of seems like is that the majority of American people are unhappy with that health insurance industry, but they've tried to change it, but it doesn't change.
Yeah, but
so eventually there's going to be some wacko with a 3D printed gun.
But the companies are going to maximize their profits no matter what.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter when you're selling Disney, you know, DVDs. You know, it matters when you're life or death.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter to you, it matters less, but the company's still the company. The company's still going to maximize whatever they can maximize. And you know, I would argue, I don't like to argue for regulation and big government or whatever it is, but if car companies could sell a version of their car without an airbag and it'd save you $1,000 and you wanted to do it, you'd sign a release and you just buy a car without an airbag. But the government says, yeah, you got to have an airbag. And so now they all have airbags and they cost more, but they're safer. And they are going to work within the system to maximize their profits, even if it kills Granny, or it doesn't matter to them, which you'd like it to matter to them, but it doesn't matter to them. So if you're going to have to revise a system that incentivizes them to do what's right. And I don't know.
Single pair.
I don't really. I'm sort of in between a bunch of stuff. I don't want the government to handle everything because it gets bad. You know what I mean? You don't get what you want, you know? I like insurance, but I have good insurance, so I'm not complaining about it. Other people don't, and they have a riff and a beef. I also don't agree with Bernie Sanders. I don't think you have the right to it. You don't really have the right to anything that costs money. You have to kind of contribute taxes or whatever, pay in, and then you can get it. And I don't know. I would honestly, I've heard Dr. Drew talk about it a lot. Mm-hmm. I would, in my world, I would get a panel of Dr. Drews and other people at boots on the ground, kind of dealt with insurance companies, what have you. And I would get some insurance company executives or whatever, people that had 30 years in the business or whatever it is. And I would put them all, and I'd create a panel, and I'd go, and I'd get people from like Medicare and Medicaid and what have you. And I'd say, let's try to figure this one out. Like what's going to be the most effective way to move forward here?
They've already done that, I think. And what it seems like is that those middlemen fight for their job.
Well, yeah, everyone in lobbies, everyone fights for their job. Becomes a business. I mean, it's also insane that the last time I think I went to the emergency room or something, the person came in with the cart, and I said, "What's that for?" "Oh, we do a heart checking your heart." And I said, "Oh, I don't think I need that." They go, "You said your heart was something," and I said, "No, I never said anything about my heart." And they're like, "Ah, we'll check it real quick." And I was like, "Oh, you're just going to push the card in, tack that on to
they do with
pad
that insurance.
I know.
You got the good insurance, they're going to order every test and milk that insurance. It's kind of the middleman
it's
way.
all right. Look, there's a lot of money, and when there's a lot of money, there's a lot of people getting paid that don't get paid, and then there's a bunch of people that get nothing because those guys are getting paid. So I'm all for reform, and I'm all for the system. I'm just saying. I don't want
people.
You can't shoot people,
Yeah.
and I don't want a bunch of bureaucrats coming up with it. I want to hear from Dr. Drew, and I want you to tell me, as there's the guys who make the windows in the factory, and then there's the installers. I want to hear from the installer what you're up against, what you're running into, what you would do differently, in the manufacturing process, because you're installing this shit.
And wait,
and you're going to have ideas.
Drew says that this is the way it is. Insurance is insurance.
Insurance is, first off, you don't get paid to be a doctor anymore. Like, you barely make any money as a physician anymore. Maybe you make money as an insurance executive or an executive at a hospital or something, but Drew's like, for what he does, you don't really get paid. The insurance, okay, there's a whole bunch of things. You shouldn't have to go see Dr. Drew all the time. You should be able to talk to a nurse or someone who's certified or 2 years training, in something. That you don't have to go to the specialist. First thing I would do is just take all the stuff that doesn't need a guy who has 13 years experience and give it to the person with 2 years experience if they can handle this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like the Army does, or the military does doctors like that. You got a guy who's like a PA, sort of physician assistant, who handles most of the stuff. You got the clap, here's some medicine. Yeah. And then somebody, big time.
I would try to streamline shit. I would try to reform shit. I'm just saying I wouldn't leave it up to the companies, the insurance companies, or the politicians. I just would have some doctors. I'd have the installers in on the conversation. All right. Monique Marvez, very funny comedian who's been in here before. Yeah, second appearance. She's crushing on Dry Bar. Got lots of shows coming up. So we'll take a break, and we'll bring Monique in right after this.
She's in studio?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Homes.com. Some might say Homes.com is the best home shopping site. Well, I agree with those some. It may be Homes.com's super comprehensive and transparent agent directory, or maybe it's that Homes.com is the only site that always directly connects you with the listing agent who knows the home best. Perhaps it's because Homes.com has the most in-depth neighborhood content of any home shopping site that's extensively researched to highlight the personality of each neighborhood. Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth info they need to find the right home. That's Homes.com. Am I right?
Homes.com is home shopping the way it should be. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Bam! You know the song, right? Mm-hmm. They're in the business of keeping your car on the road. O'Reilly Auto Parts offers friendly, helpful service and all the parts and knowledge you need to maintain and repair your automobile. Always been an O'Reilly guy. Used to go to the one out in North Hollywood when I was over there. Then I moved to La Crescenta. I went to the one up on Foothill. Still swing by there every once in a while because I'm a hands-on guy. So whether you're a car aficionado or an auto novice, you'll find the employees at O'Reilly Auto Parts are knowledgeable, helpful, and best off, they're friendly because some of those auto parts guys can be a little tough around the edges. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today, or you can visit us at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
Women get upset. They go, Monique, you make it sound like we should lower our standards when it comes to our men. No, don't lower your standards. Lose them altogether, okay? If you learn nothing else from this show, and the men are not offended, they're delighted, okay? Because they're like, she understands us. Because the ratio of thought to speech with a man is 0.5 to 1. Every time a man utters a sentence, half the words have escaped his lips. Unchecked, unfiltered, unthought about. They just get out like little invisible paintballs, pelting and annoying the women around him. What I call DDS, dumb dude statements, all right? Watch this. Have you ever said something stupid?
What?
Yeah, see? Perfection. It's not your fault. You were designed that way. You're not designed to think complicated, convoluted, sensitive thoughts. You're designed to spring up from behind a rock, kill stuff, and drag it home, okay? That's your gig.
Monique Marvez is on the Adam Carolla Show.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Monique's got dates off the hook. Naples, I was just out there.
Yeah, you sold out like every show.
Almost, yeah, pretty much. Did like 6 shows there. It's good. Had a good time. Good food, by the way, if you like eating at the club.
Good to know.
Mm-hmm. Dates all over the place, and you could go to Monique, and I'll spell MARVEZ.com, right?
Yes, I actually had a girl say I Googled myself. Her name was Monique Marquez. And said, and this is what I found. Because people very commonly mistake my last name. So it was kind of cute. She's like, I'm so glad I found you.
Dates, and as we discussed off the air, Valentine's Day. That's my time. Like I'm at Yamashiro's tonight. I'm Thursday night doing a gig in Covina. Friday I'm at a mega church in Farmington, New Mexico. Yeah, the Yamashiro's thing, is that new? I've been out here my whole life.
It's like a secret thing. It's Jay Davis. It's almost like a speakeasy. The room only holds 85 people, and you never know. Like Tiffany Haddish, Bill Burr. People just show up to try new material because it's just really kind of hip and secret.
It's a great room.
It is isn't it? It's a blast.
Super fun.
Never played there. I never been there.
You should just pop in. Like people would go nuts.
Above the Magic Castle.
I'll talk to a guy. I'll talk to a guy.
Talk to a guy.
I'll talk to a guy.
He's Adam Carolla. Nobody needs to talk to anybody.
Walk straight up there. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Throw the headliner off.
The Dry Bar special, of course, with all the millions of views.
#1 Dry Bar special last year. I found out December 30th.
Congrats. That was great.
Crazy.
50. Yeah. I just did a Dry Bar special, but it hasn't gotten on the other side of the paywall yet.
Right.
So I don't really know exactly what's going on with it until it gets to the free state.
Right.
But now, how do they work yours? So mine's been hiding behind the paywall for a number of months now.
It's the weirdest story, Adam. They filmed it 2.5 years, at this point, almost 3.5 years ago. And then nothing happened for like 2+ years.
So they released it, though.
Right. But what they did was, in the interim, they launched an app. So my original understanding, they had to send me an addendum to my contract. When I filmed, they were just a YouTube channel that was blowing up. Then they bought Angel Studios, and they did. So they sent me an addendum, and to be honest, I'm thinking, the Mormons are going to figure out how to screw me out of money or something, which is a terrible thing to think. But, I'm a human being. But I just signed it because I didn't care. And what they do now is totally different. They show a small clip on YouTube, not the whole special, to drive people to the app. And you will make money. They've been incredibly generous. I'm so ashamed I ever had that thought.
Yeah. They seem, look, if you're going to trust somebody, you might as well be Mormons. But, so then it's behind the paywall, for lack of a better term, for a period of time, and then it goes to YouTube, and then it gets shared.
And they share your clips. And the last clip they did of mine, they asked me to on Instagram to, like, collaborate. It had 6,500 views within the first minute.
Wow.
That they asked me to collaborate. One of them has 16 million. One has, like, every clip of mine they put up just starts ticking. It's crazy.
So it's been a real game changer for you.
It's changed my life, Adam.
And you've seen it in terms of ticket sales as well.
Absolutely. And inquiries. Like, I would have never had a church from Farmington, New Mexico say, hey, bring it. We want you to talk relationship to our people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited.
It's great.
How much relationship stuff did you do at the beginning part of your career?
You know, it's really interesting. I just met a young woman. I mentioned it when I sent some info, named Joy Ying Summers.
Yeah.
And
we know her.
Well, when I started comedy 30 plus years ago, like, I had a rack, I was doing twice a days. I see so much of myself because I was super dirty, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And over time, you just start to understand that the closer you care about what you're saying, the better it's going to come across. So as my marriages failed and I just started talking about it. And in 2000, I broke up with a man who I only refer to now as Dog of Satan. And that was the turning point because people could really relate to the fact that, hey, it is not easy. It's easy. Everything's easy when you're young and hot and having tons of sex. Then you hit this moment in your life where you're like, I equate it to the rocket, like, when the rocket thrusts, and then, like, that piece falls off and it's kind of drifting. I never made it past thrust until I was in my early 40s. I could lie to you, but you're such nice people, and that's not what I do anyway. But I did not know how to sustain an adult relationship once it became past the fun part.
Yeah. Well, you said, I think you had a husband that cheated, right?
My first husband, yeah. He cheated
and
with
then died?
Yeah, he did die after that. Wow,
After
you have a
you
great
killed
memory.
him?
I'm flattered. No.
I do have a sporadic and weird memory. But
yeah, he died long after we were divorced. I actually visited him in the hospital, and the nurses were astounded that I was so nice and cool and sad, because he cheated with a woman named Melissa Ives. I'm allowed to say it. I cleared it with my lawyer. It happened, so she can't sue me. And
oh, it happened, so she can't sue you.
She can't sue me. It's a true fact. She can't say, that never happened. I got proof. But that being said, what I tell young women now is perspective and time change everything. Sometimes the thing you think was the worst thing that ever happened to you was the best. And social media shows that now. I look up some of my old boyfriends. Woo! I dodged a bullet, bro. Some of them were like, wow.
Yeah, you don't want them to do better once they leave.
I just don't. I want them to do whatever they're going to do over there. It's like the end of Fiddler on the Roof. Is there a blessing for the czar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was a rich man.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that movie in a million years.
It's hard to believe a movie like 3 hours and change won so many. I saw it as a child. It had an intermission.
Really?
An intermission. Like there used to be movies with intermissions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you grew up in Miami, right?
I did. I say the capital of Cuba.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like fiddler country.
Miami?
Yeah.
Hello, it's the biggest Jewish community outside of Israel.
I thought it was Boca Raton.
Well, they started in Miami and moved north when my people infested the place like bedbugs.
Yeah, like I said, I think Boca, which I was just at, but I wouldn't. Miami, I think, is newer and younger.
Miami
and hipper
Beach, now, but Miami Beach, when I was a child, I mean, Topol probably lived there.
Yeah. Oh, Topol. And oh God, who was the actor?
Paul, the guy from Starsky and Hutch was on it as a very young man.
The captain, not
Glaser.
the captain, but Paul Michael Glaser,
something like that.
Yes, yeah,
he was on there.
His wife died of AIDS.
Something like that.
That's crazy,
Elizabeth
right?
Glaser, yeah.
It's just, I think through a blood transfusion or something.
So many in the early, because I started in the gay bars of South Beach, and so many people like Mr. Chow's ex-wife.
Mr. Chow, Mrs. Chow?
The original Mrs. Chow, not the one now.
Wow.
Not the Chow now, the old Chow.
Old Chow? Not new Chow? So she must have got, these are from blood transfusions, right?
Yeah, there were all kinds of, don't you remember there was a dentist in Florida, like Kimberly Bergalis, like there's just things that happened then that were so sketch and weird.
Yeah, I agree. There was that kid who got it. They didn't want to let him back in school. He got it from a transfusion.
Yep, and Elton John went and helped him out.
That's right. Elton showed up.
Yeah. I have one of those weird memories, too. It's not Mary Lou Henner, but it's funky. I think his name was Ryan White. I'm not 100% sure, but it would blow my mind.
It was Ryan White.
So you have that kind of memory, too?
Okay. I was in... one of the founding members of the Acme comedy troupe that I was in many, many years ago was named Bob Petrella. And Bob Petrella had the Mary Lou
Henner memory.
I was going to say Retton, but that's another memory. Yeah, has the memory where they memorize every day. And it's a process. It's kind of weird because I used to do it with Bob back before we thought it was a big deal, But I'd say to him, like, 6 years on, I'd be like, Bob, what day did I show up at Acme Theater? Like, what was my first day? And he'd go, it's Monday. It was Monday because the Steelers were playing on Monday Night Football.
I do that.
They played Cincinnati on Monday Night Football. That Monday would have been the same. And my dad's birthday was Friday before, so I remember my dad turned 71, so it was and he'd just shout it out. He'd say, "Here's the date. Here's the date." It wouldn't take him as long as I just said on anything at any time.
Stream of association.
Any date, any time, you just bring it up. When did you show up here first? When did you do this? When did I do that? He'll tell you, and Mary Lou will tell you too. And when they did this, like 60 Minutes piece on her, Bob was in this.
That's funny.
Thing, yeah, too. Was just a nice guy. He was like a friend, but it was a novelty. Like we sort of would make fun of, like, "Hey, Bob, what I eat for breakfast?"
I get that from my friends. They're like, "What was I wearing the first time you met me?" I'm like, "A green dress with no sleeves. Why?"
Right.
I'm like that.
And it's good for comedy, right?
Absolutely.
Because you get references and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
it helps you versus others who get no references because they have no memory of stuff, or they don't. It's not really. I don't think it's not about memory. They don't care about stuff.
It's about focus. One of the things I admire about you is that you're very focused on the things that are important to you. When you want to talk about something, you drill it down tight. You drill it down.
Focused.
You drill it
You're
tight.
You're underselling it.
No.
Hyper focused.
But I admire that because so many people don't commit. And especially in the world we live in now, they're afraid to commit. I have friends that are completely ideologically different than me, but I adore them and I love their commitment. That's the thing I admire and respect.
Yeah, although commitment without a plan, I don't like. It's a weird. I'm surprised at how many people have they're like a 10 in the commitment department and a 1.5 in the plan department.
Well, they have limited knowledge. They commit to a bumper sticker. They commit to a phrase. They commit to something their friend posted, and they have no field of knowledge of what that really means. Like when I was on KFI on Saturday nights, and
that's right.
I did morning drive, afternoon, and when I was on KFI, I would talk about how nothing happens in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would do, I only got like 2 or 3 stories a night, and I would dissect them.
Yes.
Because I would go back and say, look, this happened with Martha Jane Moxley and Skakel and blah blah, and people, and you have to. There's everything that happens today has DNA.
Skakel, by the way.
Skakel, thank you. I just like that it sounds more like skank,
Yeah.
But
we're talking about the Kennedy thing and that she got killed, and
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Every single thing has DNA that happens today, like event. Like there was Bill Cosby before Bill Cosby, a guy named Vince Champ, who was a serial comedian rapist.
Oh, really?
Oh, absolutely. This is the greatest story. This guy, Vince Champ, and this was before social media, this guy would find women alone in rehearsal spaces. He would go to colleges and find girls that were like alone in a studio, a rehearsal, whatever, and rape them, attack them. And then he'd whisper in their ear, "Pray for me."
Wow.
And one night he was on the radio promoting an event, and a girl that had been molested recognized his voice, and they tracked these unrelated rapes to his tour schedule.
Wow. By the way, Monique's going to be at Off the Hook Comedy Naples, Comedy Cellar, Las Vegas, Kimmel's Club.
Yeah.
June 13th and 14th as well. Just talking about comedy schedule. Hermosa Beach comedy. So I've never heard about this.
And he's got a brick at Hermosa Comedy and Magic Club, like he signed it. And,
oh, really?
And nobody, like you just stared
Nobody chipped it away?
Yeah, nobody goes like, oh my God, that's Vince Champ, because they don't, you know.
Wow.
I wonder if that story made it out here. What year was that?
I think they caught him here.
They caught him out here.
I'm pretty sure they caught him.
Well, look up that Vince Champ.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never heard that
What
lore.
year was that?
It was in the 90s, I want to say early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
All right.
Great.
So, yeah, so everything just sort of repeats itself.
Well, there's DNA.
Different.
It's like it doesn't happen at like Robert Durst didn't just accidentally shoot his best, he was like killing dogs.
Yeah.
He had Igor 1, Igor 2, like come on.
No, I totally agree. I would liken it. The example I always use is if you go on a first date with a woman and you, let's say I come to your home, I knock on the door and you go, oh, Adam, just come on in. I'm just getting something out of the bathroom or something. Just hang out for a second. And I go, oh, okay. And I just stand in the living room. And then you got a little dog. And the dog comes like sniffing around like dogs do. If you're in the bathroom and you're getting something and you see in the bathroom mirror, you see me kick the dog, then it's over.
Correct.
Right. Now you could say Adam hates Labradoodles, but it's not that. You're taking a snapshot of me.
Correct.
You're saying, who is this guy? Who is he at his core? Now, when you come out of the bathroom, I go, oh, your dog's so cute. Boy, I wish I had one. But you saw what I did.
Amen.
And you know who I am.
Yes,
right?
immediately.
And it's deal breaking. And it should be, because we don't need, I feel that way when I see someone litter. When I see them just throw shit out the window of their car, I'm like, I know I don't like that person. I go, well, maybe they just don't like wrappers from Wendy's. It's like, no. Overall, that is a selfish and bad person. I would not be able to be friends with that person.
I've chased people down. I had somebody one time open a door to stoplight and just drop a bag of garbage at the stoplight.
Really?
And I chased them and gave it. I'm not that person, but I was that day.
In 1997, Champ was identified as a serial rapist when his DNA and tour schedule were matched up with a serial rapist, college campuses, arrested May 7th in Hollywood, California. Is still in prison, you think?
He got a long sentence. It was a lot of girls.
So, back to stuff.
Yes, sir.
So, like, I remember some years ago, he got a 56-year sentence.
Oof. Still out there.
I don't know if he's still alive. I don't know if he's still in prison. I must be still in prison. I mean, although you can get a 56-year prison sentence, get out in 20 years. But when I heard Joe Biden lying about his education, when he said he was at a scholarship and he was at the top of his class and he's the only student to get 3 degrees and 3 majors and 3 whatever, and it turns out he was at the bottom of his class, he never got the scholarship and he didn't get 3 degrees, I was like, something's wrong with that guy. Something's wrong. And then people go, politician, It's like, no, he was being filmed. And I would say stuff. I said to Dr. Drew, would you ever lie about your training or how many degrees you had or how many, what your majors were or anything? And he'd go, no, it's not thinkable. You know what I mean?
And it's too easy now to trace.
Well, now, back then they still did it, but as well. But there people was like, that was from 1987. I was like, that is a horribly flawed, lying human being. And then so later on, he's like, I've never talked to my son once about any business. I'm like, okay, liar. Keep going. And then later on, it's like, I would never pardon anybody in my family. Okay, I just pardon. Okay, just a liar then. But I knew it from 1987. I don't get That to me was your kicking the dog moment. I saw what you did. That's insane. Champ still, I think we should put his name on here so I don't have to keep calling him whatever his name, Champ.
Vince Champ.
Vince Champ, still alive, 67 years young.
Wow. He was a young comic, I mean, back in the day, you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is in the later 90s.
And he did it for a long time before he got caught. They had a hard time because they were one-offs. He didn't live there. He was a tour. It's like almost a perfect crime. You know, he would find isolated girls, you know.
So I think we have we'll find the Biden to Greece thing. It is. So what's interesting to me is this is sociopathic behavior that Biden engaged in, but so is littering, and so is kicking the dog. But I don't see this person as an isolated litterer, just like I don't see this person as an isolated dog kicker. I see them as a horribly flawed individual. All right,
I'm not going to disagree with you.
We'll play the Biden to Greece thing just because it's comical. And it's also comical back when the news would do the news. Like, they'll go ahead and say whatever Biden did. They're not covering for Biden anymore, or they weren't back then.
Explaining to do. The new questions stem from taped remarks of Biden during an April campaign appearance in New Hampshire.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. Went back to law school and in fact ended up in the top half of my class. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only needed 123 credits.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
Joe Biden ranked 76th in a class of 85 at the University.
He's a liar. Like, it's a sociopathic liar. He said this when he was an adult. He was in his 40s or 50s.
I'm going to bring something to the table that you probably already know. There was a movie called Foxcatcher.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to tie it all together for you.
Please.
There was a movie called Foxcatcher. And I'm always fascinated by, even like when F. Scott Fitzgerald was like, beware of the super rich. They're not like you and I. So this guy shot a wrestler because he was having some kind of homoerotic thing.
Mm-hmm.
Carol could not have been more amazing in it, Steve Carell. He was amazing in it,
yeah.
right? So I Googled, how many DuPonts have committed a felony? I was just curious.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? 2. And the other one was when Beau Biden, I'm sure you guys know this, was the DA for the state of Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a molester who under deposition had admitted that he had started molesting his second child. He was under deposition for molesting his first child.
Mm-hmm.
And it admitted, and there was some sort of agreement between the judge and the DA, Beau Biden, that he couldn't serve time because he wouldn't do well in prison based on, mitigating factors. Like, nobody does well in prison. But I told this to a friend because, unlike you, I don't discuss politics in public. I'm like a 30,000-foot person. But like you say, when I see the dog get kicked, I was like, okay, the DA of the state has this guy dead to rights as a molester, and he doesn't go to prison for the rest of his life. Like, and the judge, of course, was involved. But you can have your guy Google this, like Vince Champ, and you just Google DuPont, Beau Biden, and see what comes up.
Well, I hate to correct you, but according to Joe, Beau Biden died in Iraq. So he never made it back here because whenever he talks to Gold Star families, he explains that his son was also killed in battle, too, except for he died years later after coming back.
Of brain cancer.
Yeah, but then he connected it. It's funny because Beau Biden is more Joe Biden lying to people about his death and how he contracted cancer and this, that. The thing about Joe Biden is he was a serial liar, which all politicians do, but he was running on being a straight shooting, back to normal sort of Uncle Joe thing, and then he turned out to be a serial liar, which is part of the problem. But is Champ paroled yet? because
That I don't-
this
that I
is
couldn't tell you.
California. I'm asking my people. Sorry.
Okay.
Because we got an opening for Wednesday if he's out. I mean, obviously, I'm no softballs. You know, I'm gonna ask him the tough stuff. But plugs, he'll get plugs. You know, because
I don't think he has dates coming up. I don't think he's booked.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get him some dates. I agree with you. Because this is California. I mean, it's been 25 plus years. We let people out here. You know, they get paroled or they, are decent. You know, maybe he entertained
Except Manson.
the
Manson
troops.
died in prison.
Manson died in prison, but Manson would do his parole hearings every 7 years, and poor Sharon Tate's mom had to come and stare at him and then hear what he had to say. And so they always showed up for I would be bad as Mrs. Tate, because I'd be like, he's not there. We don't have to fly. We're in Indiana. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to charter. We don't have to catch a flight. They're not going to let him out, But she would go every year, and he would have his parole hearings, I guess, every 7 years. So is Champ paroled? Now we're going to have to see. Because if the thing is 97, I mean, we're coming up to 30 years still in prison.
Yeah, and has he worked on a tight 5 yet?
He's
going to have material when he comes out. That's for sure.
Nightmare. Oh my God.
He'll be unstoppable.
Oh my God, is he going to have material? Oh man, still in. All right.
He'll be on a show like Sons of Anarchy or something. You know what I mean? They'll find a place for him.
I saw Mark Garagos a couple days ago. I wonder if the Menendez boys are going to beat Champ out of the joint.
Oh, yeah, probably.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they've got Kim Kardashian rooting for them now. Yeah. I mean, one of them's going to get out and marry one. Is any of the sisters single at this point?
Oh yeah, no.
That would be a heck of a spinoff.
Champ's in Nebraska. Is in a Nebraska state penitentiary. They're probably.
He's never coming out.
Now he's never coming out.
Never coming out.
Oh, so maybe he got busted here, but but somewhere along his travels, they have to go back to that state where that crime was committed, right? So
I'm guessing
probably Nebraska.
Probably his most heinous was Nebraska.
Wow. And young too, which is weird.
And attractive again. Not that we've always heard it's about power and violence and not sex, but this guy was. Look, you and I both know very unattractive headliners that get leg because they're funny.
Oh yeah, Jeff Ross, sure. This transcends whether you can get with someone willingly. Because you're funny, you're headliner, you're on the road, whatever, it's going to happen. I mean, it's not going to be about that. It's about something else.
Absolutely.
I mean, but you would say the same with Bill Cosby. Like, it's not about that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's weird. It's like you develop a weird kink, and then you got to be very careful what kink that you feed into, because if suddenly you get a kink for her saying no, then now you're chasing. Oh, it's really creepy.
Well, the perfect example. I used to have a bit because everything goes into about George Michael, because George Michael was arguably number one. He was the number one pop star on the planet in 19. He sold more records than Michael Jackson one year in the 80s. Won a ton of Grammys, physically beyond beautiful, and for that guy to be caught in Will Rogers State Park. Now, granted, Will Rogers' theme was "I never met a man I didn't like," but still.
That's right.
But still.
Yeah. No, the idea that you would be first off, you want to spend as little time as possible in a park bathroom. Like my mission, I go in there like a Navy SEAL. I'm like pointing my watch. I'm doing the look thing, in and out, 30 seconds, in and out. It's like a heist movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to figure out a way to shit and wash my hands at the same time just to shave precious seconds. The idea that you would hang out, would bivouac in there in the men's part of the park bathroom, that's already suggests that something's astray, mentally. And then the notion of like rando gay sex with dudes at the park, you know, it all seems very unappetizing to me, right?
I run around the Rose Bowl in Pasadena.
Oh, you do?
I do. I just signed up for my first half marathon since COVID.
Really?
I'm excited about it.
Really?
Yes, and I have to circle back to something you said. Remember the first time I was here, you have a good memory maybe, where I said that I saw you at the Ice House and you inspired a joke by something you said. And I always say, I saw this famous comedian whose name I'm not going to mention, Adam Carolla. It gets a huge laugh. And then I quote your joke, I give you credit, and then I tagged it.
Please, tell me.
Okay, so here it is. You were at the Ice House. I was there with Jeff Leach. You didn't see my set. You got in late, and I watched yours. And you said, when you get to be a certain age, there's things that you know you're not going to do again.
Yes.
Like, yeah. And then you mentioned 69. And I went on after you. I'll keep it in the county lines. Don't worry. I know who your listenership is.
That's right.
And I said, you know, I do a lot of yoga. I said, Adam's actually younger than me. But now that he mentioned it, that's something that I'm going to look forward to again. It hasn't happened in a minute, but how do you get a picture of that to put on your vision board without getting something weird happen to your computer? And I went on and on about how I wanted to manifest it, how I was going to put it on my Pinterest, you know, et cetera, and it gets a huge laugh. And I quote you and tag you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that led to the half marathon.
Yeah,
so I'm not sure how.
So because
Ice House is in Pasadena.
Because I'm fighting the good fight, and I said at the Ice House, it was a string of associations, because there's public bathrooms, and when you're running, you know, 3 miles, 6 miles, 9 miles, it's a 3-mile loop. Inevitably, you have to go into the public bathroom, and even the one in Pasadena, even the one by the Rose Bowl. Yeah.
But how hot are the dudes in it?
In the ladies one, not at all. But I haven't been in a minute, so it could be chock-a-block full of them.
Yeah, Robert Richards, I think, was the DuPont. Maybe we were talking about. Yeah, and he raped his 3-year-old daughter. Which again, there's a certain point where you're broken to the point where you sort of, in my world, you know. You have to put down dogs every once in a while because they just can't stop biting people. You know what I mean? And if you're having sex with your 3-year-old daughter, you should be put down. And maybe for your own good. Like maybe you don't want to. Maybe you're suggesting I don't want to be here. I think that's who you are.
I mean, that's what it is. I think it's an unconscious way of saying I'm out of control. Somebody, you know, the old "stop me before I kill again." Yeah, because he admitted on his deposition that he had now started molesting the. Nobody asked even. Nobody said like, "Hey, by the way, is this where it ended?" Nobody said that to him.
Right. Yeah, it kept going. It's interesting when people volunteer information like. Fonnie Willis, the DA, was trying to go after Trump, but she was getting pressed. They're like, and so you went on wine tasting tours, expensive wine tasting tours? And she goes, yeah, you know, but I'm not really much of a fan of wine. And then she pauses. She goes, I like vodka. It's like, okay, baby, you don't need to yell that part out. You just go, not a big wine person. We're trying to keep some decorum here. You didn't have to yell you're a vodka person. You could have just not liked wine.
Well, I believe that sweat, you know, has truth in it. Like it comes out of your pores. If you try to fight it, so it's a weird thing, the truth. Like I've been on dates and people feel the need because maybe I'm so open that it makes something happen in the atmosphere. They'll tell me whatever they did within the, like, look, I did time. I can't tell you how many people... now I look at men, I go, it's not a question of whether you're on probation, it's what for. Like, just you know, because it's crazy.
Yeah, well, cruising the prison bus stop is probably not a way to find eligible single men.
No, can I tell you, in the entertainment industry, lots of people have DUI. You know, it's just...
Oh, yeah.
I have the overwhelming urge to tell you I just got out of Chino.
Yeah, I'm only going to date... and even civilians. You know, I've said I'm not going to do anybody else in our industry, but even civilians, non-California industry people... You know, they got hitches in their giddy up.
Are you looking for older, younger?
I
Does
would
it matter?
love an age. I know men don't have age appropriate. They have prison, no prison.
Mhm.
But I would love an age appropriate man, because this is what I say for women. It's mental. It's about intimacy. Men love dating young, beautiful women because it's a different dynamic. It's an
Mhm.
extension of what you've created in your life.
Mhm.
For me, when you date much younger men, it turns into a history lesson. You always have to explain everything to them. So I say that when I'm on a date, I'm going to look them dead in the eye and say, my name is Inigo Montoya. And if the guy says, you killed my father, prepare to die, that's my guy. Like, we're going.
Well, also, you happen to be, have a steel trap for brains, so you remember lots of detail, and so then you shall be frustrated at guys that don't, So you're kind of up against it times two, because the younger guys, doesn't remember stuff. But if you could have dated me if I was young, and I still would remember a lot of references and things like that, just because I collected that stuff. We have Fonnie Willis, I think, in her Georgia DA when she was put up talking about vodka, which is a funny one. We'll watch it. I think we have it. Or we don't have it, or we do have it. Yeah, here she is.
Much less cash that time, probably $400 or $500, and then I paid for a bunch of stuff. I think we did 2 different wine tours that you do, which are pretty expensive. I think I bought him. He likes wine. I don't really like wine, to be honest with you. I like Grey Goose. I bought him a bottle of wine while we were there.
All right.
And the sipping.
What I'm saying is, at this point, you just go, he like wine. I'm not much of a drinker. And then we go, oh, okay. She seems like classy, but she likes the harder stuff, which is
and the
funny.
brand Grey Goose, which means that's like, I'm always leery of people. I'm not a drinker. And I come from a family of freaks, and I'm just careful that way. Because people always think you started and then stopped. Like, they don't know what to do with a person who just said, no, that's just not my thing. So when I do order, because I'm not AA or anything, it's one of those nights. I'll be like, I would like a Diet Coke with some rum in it. Some guy looked at me and goes, you're not a drinker, are you? I'm like, no.
Right.
He goes, nobody orders a drink like that.
Yeah.
When people go up with like a surgeon, like Kettle One vodka, no, that'll hold the fruit. I'm like, whoa, those people scare me.
Yeah. They get very specific.
Yeah. 1 ice cube, hold,
Well, a lot of them are blowhards, and they're talking about stuff that I had a blowhard buddy who did the, Kettle One, bruised, not shaken.
What the hell is
Don't
bruised?
bruise it. They're guys who got martini orders, and I got so tired of this guy with his specific martini bullshit, and his jack off buddy who had it as well. We're at an airport, like in LAX, and I just said, Daniel, I'm going to order us 3 shots of vodka, and you say you need Stoli or whatever. I'll give you $100 if you can tell me which is in what glass. You know what I mean? I'm going to get Smirnoff, the cheapest. I'll get the most expensive. We'll get the one you think you know. I'll have this guy, and he just looked at me and went, I can't do it. And I went, I didn't think so. So shut the fuck up next time we get a martini, would you? You know what I mean?
I there's something, I tell people that when they want to impress me, I'm like, don't spend money. I don't know the difference.
Yeah, over shaken. You take a martini and you shake it 23 times, it's fine. But you do it 26 times, you bruise it.
What's over shaken?
I don't. These are first world, don't really exist problems.
I gotcha.
These are what we do. Women have their version of it.
I'm sure.
They eat this, they feel that way, then they eat that,
I
they feel
avoid all
that
of
way.
that.
And it's all just talk, and it doesn't really exist in places that have actual problems. So we don't have problems, so we sort of create problems. And that's our new world order.
I have a friend who shall remain nameless, who bought a very expensive French bulldog from a breeder.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm convinced it's because she doesn't have children.
Mm-hmm.
And she projects so much stuff onto this dog.
Yes.
And I got a mutt that I rescued She goes to the vet once a year for shots. She gets her teeth cleaned.
Mm-hmm.
End of story.
Right.
She gets a cough. I keep her warm. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I got to take my dog to the vet because she was not looking good. You know, her nose was a little warm. Like, it's a dog.
No, they project. And actually, Dr. Drew told me this years ago. He said, like, his wife was sort of that way, and then they had triplets, and the dog was out. You know, she just took all her shit and got it.
And then she was kicking the dog. You saw it in the bathroom
all her
mirror.
energy that went to the dog. Now you got kids, and that's a real world thing, and you got to deal with it, you know. And that's how it works. And so there's a lot of that. I also notice women sometimes when they're mean, they're saccharine sweet to the dog. It's like it's some sort of compensation, like a Leona Helmsley, Marge Schott type situation.
Marge Schott. I haven't heard that name in forever.
You see it on those Beverly Hills Housewives thing where they're like,
don't get me started,
bitch, and they throw a drink at the woman or something, and then later on they're like, Shotzi, come here.
Because a dog is unconditional love. Like, a dog is going to love you even if you're a horrible person.
But it feels like it feels like compensation.
Well, they put everything there.
Yeah.
They put it all there.
But they're super bitchy to their employees and then way too nice to the dog, you know? My thing is I'm shitty with everybody. I'm bad with the employees. I'm bad with the dog. I'm bad with the kids.
You know what's funny? Last time I was here, I said you were kind because you were very cool about helping a guy out when he didn't sell as many tickets for a reason that wasn't your fault. And you're actually, I don't suffer fools and I don't hang around unkind people. I don't have the time or the inclination. You're actually a really stellar human being.
Ooh, all right. Stellar.
Stellar.
Never been called stellar. But I would think of myself as a fair person.
And you have integrity.
Oh, yeah, that I have. But it's not really integrity. It's just I tell the truth as I know it, and that's kind of about it. I don't really have much of a choice, you know.
But you do. Everybody does. That's what I gravitate to people that think that they don't have a choice, because those are the people that are, whether I agree with every single thing you say or not, the fact that you feel that way makes you like one of my tribe, someone I like to be around, because I don't have time to listen to the dog whistle of BS, because I always know when people are lying. I'm Latina, I'm bruja, whatever. I can feel it. And when I know someone's lying to me, I check out. Then they become Charlie Brown's dog to me. Like I have no time.
Teacher, but yeah.
Charlie Brown's teacher. Thank you.
I know. Well, we were talking about dogs. So it could have been Snoopy.
Yeah.
But look. What I would say, you know, when everyone was yelling at me during COVID, I was like, look, I'm a comedian. What are you going to do? I have to say what I think. And if I stop saying what I think, then I'll just go back to carpentry, because that's my former profession. But I didn't get into comedy to win some sort of popularity contest. I have to say what I'm thinking. And I also have to gauge myself and go, look, are you wrong a lot? Are you right a lot? Like, what are you getting wrong? What are you getting right? Don't start talking if you don't think, you don't want this shit thrown in your face in 6 months, do you, when you're wrong? So
think
stop.
it through.
So think it through. And then once you thought it through, because you're a comedian, then you're supposed to say something. But you're not supposed to go along with or do whatever's popular. Because why do comedy if that's what you're going to do?
People ask me if I fear getting canceled. I said, fear, just stop at fear. You don't have to say stop at fear.
Right.
That's anathema to being a comic. If your art is ruled by fear, you're done. Like, stop.
No, I agree. And because of where I come from, I think I just instinctively tell people not to say things like integrity or dignity or any of that. My feeling is I wouldn't litter, and I wouldn't litter if 1,000 people were watching or nobody was watching. I just wouldn't do it. And I wouldn't kick the dog if 1,000 people were watching or nobody was watching, you know? And you just have a way you live your life, and it's kind of no duh stuff. It's not even real.
You would think
integrity, or yes, you would think, and it would be nice if more people one about it that way. But I think we're kind of fear-based, and I think in a weird way, comedians want acceptance, and they
social media's ruined so many aspects of proper media.
Yes,
you've done radio. I did radio.
Yes.
When radio was kind of in its death throes in the 2010s was when I was on KFI, and I would talk to other talk show hosts that you're there to say something of personality, because you can see anything on your phone. They're there to hear you. Mm-hmm. And the minute they would see on Twitter that someone didn't agree with them, they would start saying, well, mostly like this, but this is a thing too, mm-hmm. and they were living and dying by if they were being reposted, if people were liking it, if people were arguing with them, if you wake me up in the middle of the night and say, how do you feel about gun control? I'll be like, I have a problem with AK-47s. Everything else, I'm open to discussion. You know what I mean? Like, mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you the same thing, no matter what you ask me and when you ask it.
Well, I do think you also have to have some concept of your ability. And if you have ability and you have ability that, there's ability as a comedian or as an artist, a writer, creator, let's just say. Mm-hmm. And if you have a lot of ability, you'll always work. You may not be Kevin Hart. Mm-hmm. And the business is sort of like, is Kevin Hart funnier than this guy or that guy? Not really, but someone's got to be Kevin Hart.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
he's filled that slot.
Yeah, you're not going to get guaranteed that you're going to be that, but you'll work. And you should have an accurate assessment of who you are and in your abilities and your talent level. My head on it was, I get to say whatever I want all the time because my ability is good enough that I'll always make a living. I'm not going to be Kevin Hart, but I'll just do what I want and then I'll get paid. And people have said, time or two, well, you could be doing more of this if you said less about that. And I would never argue. I go, you're right, but I make enough money and I say what I want.
You're free.
And I'm free, but if you don't have much ability, then you should be a little bit careful about what you say.
Yeah.
But I mean it. I remember having a conversation with Tucker Carlson about this, and he just goes, I said, well, let's really just break it down. Like, why are so many people going along with so many narratives and so scared? COVID's an easy one to point to, but they happen all the time.
Sure.
And I was actually talking to Greg Gutfeld about this as well, too, which is not that many people can say, I'm excellent at what I do. Most people are okay at what they do and thus replaceable.
How do you feel about what you do?
Talking?
Yes.
Or comedy? Or
just call you a creator. You're multi-platform distribution creator.
I've always been funnier than everyone I know, including comedians, but doesn't make me Kevin Hart. It doesn't mean you get paid like Kevin Hart.
Right.
I mean, there's always the asterisk of I'm not saying that I need to be this person or that person.
Correct.
I'm just
it's
saying
an assessment.
Yeah, I
just
was
where things stand financially, visually, the metrics of he's seen a lot by more people, he makes more money, etc. It's just a metric.
My ability has been better, or I've never had any qualms or insecurities about my ability.
Well, that puts us in the same. We're in the same boat. I'm very good at what I do.
Right, but I'm not delusional.
I'm not either.
Oh, okay. Sorry. No,
I'm a girl that wouldn't sleep with people when I could.
I went on. So a lot of this is up against experiences. I went and did Howard Stern with Jimmy Kimmel a billion years ago. He didn't know who either one of us were. Mm-hmm. And when I was done doing Howard Stern called me. And he was like, I don't know who you are, but I want you to be part of this. I want you to be part of this program.
There you go.
Now, that's him saying that. So it's not me going, I know I'm funnier than whatever. He called me and wanted me to do it. And I told him I live in L.A., I do some TV shows. I'm not moving to New York, but thank you. And that was fine. So I mean, it's not based on something. It's based on things. So if you work at a company and you're kind of mid, lower, or wherever, you better toe the line.
Correct.
And if you're up at the top,
find another job. Find the place where you can, where your abilities are good.
You know, what Tucker told me is he said, if I was 31 and had a newborn, I'd shut the fuck up if I worked at this company. And I said, you should, because you just had a kid and you're 31 and you're whatever. And what I was talking to him and Gutfeld about was, who does wander off the plantation? Like, who are the people that just go to Substack and stuff? And it's like, oh, they're people who are good. Most people aren't excellent. You know what I mean? And it's that way in every endeavor.
Sure.
The ones at the very top of the food chain are the ones can go, I'm not going to honor my contract. I'm getting traded. You know, I hit 350 last year and stole 40 bases. You know, I'll get paid somewhere else. I don't have to do you know, the guys that are just hitting 225 and lucky to be on the roster, they shut up. They're happy to be there. And when you tell them, hey, it's Gay Pride night, we need you to put the Gay Pride jersey on, they go, yeah, where's the jersey? Where's the jersey, boss? It's the guys hitting 350 with the 40 stolen bases who can go, I'm not wearing a fucking gay flag shirt.
But here's my question to you. If you inverse the relationship, I think every human being has something they can do well. And what's challenging is that you said something very smart, which is you're not delusional. I think there's a lot of people that want so desperately to do something, whether it's be on a baseball team or be a comedian, that they do something that they're just merely good at or pretty good at, and they don't have the confidence in their field because they're not the guy that hit, you know, et cetera. And then I think there's people, and I think you may fall into this category and myself. I tell people what got me smacked, divorced, and fired is now paying my rent because I'm like this. I can't do other things. I'm not capable or competent.
Yeah.
I sold makeup, and I'd have women come up to me, and I was a very good makeup artist. I was fantastic. But I'd have women walk up to me, and they'd be like, Monique, make me beautiful. I'd be like, I don't have that kind of time, and you don't have that kind of money. You know, like I was this person. So in a weird way, comedy it allows me to hide in plain sight because I'm the person who won't do what I don't want to do. I can be broke with bald tires and bad credit living in Koreatown, which I was, and I still wouldn't do what people wanted me to do.
Yeah, but you do. I think people inherently have a sense of where they're at, sort of ability-wise. And it's not, you know, I worked construction, and I was a good carpenter, and I got onto a job that was an earthquake rehab job, and it got paid like $19 an hour when I was making 12 or 13 an hour. And my foreman was an ex-friend of mine. His name was Jan, and he started being a real dickhead to me because he was my foreman, and he rode me a lot. And at some point, I just said, I'm not coming back, you know. And they were like, you're making, I mean, there was a big difference between I was making like $19.50 an hour versus dropping down to like 12 or 13. That was a big, trend. But I was like, you know what, Jan, I'm a good carpenter, and I'll go somewhere else, and I'll figure this out. And I did. And you can have a sense. On the other hand, you can be lucky to be there and hang on with both hands and take Jan's shit and get paid.
I don't think you're designed to take people's crap. You're not that guy.
I can. You can say whatever you want to me. You really can. But I'm also. I have certain things, like I did a year radio with Danny Bonaduce. I did not want to do a second year of radio with Danny Bonaduce. I told them that. They said, okay, and then they signed Danny Bonaduce to another year, and I just stayed home. I just didn't show up.
But I didn't know that. No,
that's a good
wild.
story.
I never answered the phone. My agent called. Everyone called. We were supposed to do a live show from like Senior Frogs or something. I don't know where it was. Carlos and Pepe's.
No way.
Oh, we're doing a live show. I said, all right.
Remote, as we say in the biz.
I did not. We're doing a remote, a live Christmas remote.
You ruined Christmas.
And I never showed up. And I didn't call in. I didn't call in sick. I just never showed up.
Conscientious
never picked
objector.
up the phone. Never did anything. My agent called. I said, no. I wouldn't.
AWOL.
I did not talk to anybody and it rolled right into Christmas vacation. And I wasn't there. And they had no idea if I was coming back. They didn't know what it was because they signed Danny. And I told them, do not sign. I'm not doing another year with him. And they said, we won't do it. And then they signed him to another year. And I said, I already told you. I didn't tell them I was leaving. I just never came back. And then I never answered the phone. And I just got about my business. And then at some point, my gate rang.
And it's Bonaduce outside.
No, better. It was better. But my gate rang, and it was Jimmy Kimmel, who walked over to my house. I think he lived by my house at the time, and he just rang my gate, and he said, "Hey, man, when these guys at the radio station, he was involved with producing the show or whatever. He said, you got to pick up your phone. You got to pick up your phone at some point. These people are going nuts." I said, I'm not going to pick up my phone, Jimmy. I don't want them to think I'm negotiating. I don't want them to think that I'm whatever. I'm not talking to my agent because my agent will tell them, he's a little hot in the head. He'll calm down. He'll calm down. I said, I'm not talking to Dixon. I'm not talking to anybody. And he goes, Jimmy goes, you got to pick up your phone. I go, I'm not going to do it. And he goes, they're driving me nuts. They keep calling me. Because they call you and then you don't pick up your phone. Then they call me and tell me to whatever. So you pick up the phone because they're driving me nuts. But they ended up getting rid of Bonaduce. But it wasn't why I did it. I mean, I just told them, I'm not coming back and doing another year with Danny Bonaduce. If you like Danny Bonaduce, you can. It's not a threat. I'm just saying I'm not going to do this thing. If you want him to do the show, then do the show. God bless. I'll listen to the show. I'm just saying I don't want to do this. I got our money doubled on Loveline on MTV because I just told him after 2 years, I go, I'm not. You got to double my money, otherwise I'm not coming back. But I'm not doing it as a threat. It's just not worth it. And they doubled it. But what I found is you got to make them think you're not threatening them or even upset. You're just saying, it's not worth the time to do stuff. But yeah, you have to have that. But if I was 29 and had a newborn, then no, I probably wouldn't have gone that route.
My dad told me when I was maybe 14, he said, Monique, one day you're going to be broke. One day you're going to be brokenhearted. Make sure it's not the same day.
Wow.
And I took that to heart. And since I've been a very young woman, I've always had a job. I've always had I've always looked after myself because I never wanted to be in a position where I couldn't state things as a fact. And one of my husband's a very possessive, jealous guy, and he accused me of flirting with my radio co-host. The show was called Monique and the Man, and the co-host was a guy named Greg Sims, and we were friends. He's on K-Earth now. We were friends. And we'd go to lunch after the show. It was morning drive. And he'd be like, you and your little Greggy, you're always flirting with Greggy. He was a Southerner, so he had that accent, which made it worse. And then he says to me, you need to quit flirting. And I said, now that I've heard your language, I know how far I can go. I said, flirting is a pussy behavior. You kind of throw something out there to see if somebody will bite. I said, number one, I'm married. I don't flirt. I said, here's how it's going to work. You're going to annoy me. I'm going to tell you. Then you're going to annoy me again. I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to yell. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to tell you to fix the behavior. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to tell you that thing you just did, don't do that. It really bothers me. And please take it to heart. I don't raise my voice at him. I don't do it. And so I said, then if you hit 3 strikes, I'm going to divorce you. I'm going to leave you. And then I'm going to regroup, figure out how I ended up married to you to begin with. I'm going to figure it out. I'll be by myself. I'll regroup. Then I will see somebody that I find interesting and say, hey, I like you. Would you like to have a coffee with me? And that's how it works. I don't flirt. I don't do things in half measures. And by the way, this is your first warning.
Wow.
You gave him a demerit.
How do you react to that?
Not well. Not well. Because people always say they want you to be direct and honest. But when a woman does it, I remember when I worked with John Gray, he kept saying, you got a lot of dude energy, the Mars Venus guy. Because I am if I have to scream and yell, I dated a guy in the 80s that had a BMW, I know you're a car guy, had a BMW 325, 5-speed, little car, and he drove like a lunatic, like he was going to die, And I would tell him, please don't drive that way. It's very upsetting. It makes me nervous from the passenger seat. Do whatever you want when I'm not in the car. But when I'm in the car, please don't drive that way. 3 times I told him. I said, it terrifies me. Just like it terrifies me. If a woman looks you in the eye and says, something you're doing terrifies me, what would you do, Adam?
Well,
if you liked her.
Listen, I have a race car license and do some competitive driving, and I also understand that women do not like going at those speeds.
In the passenger seat.
Yeah. So I get it. I used to see my dad, God rest his soul, he thought there was a brake on the floorboard of the passenger seat. I could see his foot working the brake, the invisible brake, and that's when I always knew he was getting to his saturation point. So, yes, I still drive with some spirit, but not aggressively, and I would not. I take into account now. But hold on. If the speed limit's 34 and the woman wants to go 22, then I will tell her I will go the speed limit.
He was doing 90 and a 65. Like, I'm good with 80 and a 65.
Right,
I'm cool.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Yeah, no, he was a maniac. And so the third time, I said it was I didn't scream or yell, but I said it with real, like, hey, look, if you care, this is really terrifying me. Guess what? Then that was the old, when you had the answering machine with the little mini tape. I just wouldn't, like you, I wouldn't take his call. It was over. I was finished with him. He filled the tape with, I don't know what I did. I don't know why you won't pick up. So it's kind of the same. Like, I speak in facts.
Man, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
That's right. No, it is. I agree with you. You shouldn't have to yell to make a point. You just simply say something more than once, and if they're not picking up what you're putting down, then. But it's also, then you just don't want to be with the person who kicks the dog.
Right, because they don't take your feelings into account. If you went out to the lobby and said, look, Monique, when you're on the show, don't do this, I won't do it.
Yeah, most people don't have full control over themselves. That's another thing I've realized. Like, they don't. Most people, or many people, if you go, look, this is a very expensive council, and it was handmade, and it Mars, so please use a coaster. Half the people I know within 30 seconds just set it right next to a coaster. Now, I don't know how to account for that, but that is most people, unfortunately.
And a lot of people are just oppositional. It's almost like when you tell them something, their brain says, no can do.
Oh, I think it's Dr. Drew calls it like an adolescent defiance disorder.
Oppositional defiance disorder.
Oppositional defiance disorder, yeah. Mayhem has it, evidently.
Yes.
Or has been diagnosed with it.
Definitely.
It's people,
I haven't.
People, they start arguing before you're even done with what you're saying. So then there are people who shout the word no all the time. Like, you go, oh, man, every time I'm running late for the airport, and they go, no. How about no? And I'm like, stop yelling no. Stop yelling no in the middle of the story. Also, there's people that don't let you finish saying what you're saying. They just dive in and start yelling at something else. It's out there. It's real. It's a thing. I don't get it, but a lot of people have it, and it's way more prevalent than it should be.
I agree.
And it affects a lot of people, and it doesn't really have to do with a chronological age or what your driver's license says or anything. Men do it, women do it. I find there's an IQ thing attached to it, but occasionally there is a high IQ version of it, which Jimmy Kimmel has it, but that's more of a comedian thing where they're just kind of it's a little ball busting mixed in with a little I'm smarter than you, so I'm going to fix this one or tell you how it goes, you know. But there is it is a thing, and it exists, and that's why you should go take a groundlings class. It hopefully will cure you of, it'll give you the yes and not only that, but, which is words to live by. Forget about being on stage. It's just words to live by. Like, oh yeah, not only that. Yep, agree. And not only that, but and we'll keep going. Monique, I should give I'd give dates out for you. Naples coming up.
Yes, Off the Hook, which you were just there and crushed it. So yes, this Saturday. It's if you screwed up Valentine's, I'm going to fix it for you.
I'm going to work out some menu items for you when we get off stage.
Okay.
When these mics go cold.
Thank you.
Comedy Cellar, Las Vegas. That'll be April 7th through the 13th. And then the aforementioned Kimmel's Club.
I'm excited.
13th and 14th.
And Hermosa Beach Comedy and Magic, the 28th of this month for the locals.
You are a gem. I love you.
Thank you.
I've been watching you forever, so I'm like,
I appreciate
my
that.
boyhood heart is pounding out of my chest.
Oh, wow. You probably saw my old promo picture from the 90s.
Hey.
The girls out, big
Did
time.
I ruined it.
Yeah.
So yeah, come back anytime, Monique.
Thank you. Pleasure.
That was fun. I'm going to be at the end this Saturday in Torrance. I don't know if you ever play the place. It is fun.
No, I haven't.
It's like rock and roll comedy club, bar. It's fun. It's a fun place. Anyway, that'll be 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock show in San Luis, playing a theater there in Monterey and Napa. Just go to AdamCarolla.com for all the live shows. And this is Adam Carolla. For Monique Marvez and for Mayhem, saying mahalo.